7 p.m. Eastern Time, New York. Here we go. CrossFire, guys. I'm very excited. Very excited. I see all you guys clapping, lighting a match in the back. I appreciate it. Listen, we've got an outstanding show for you guys tonight. Again, I'm very lucky that this show happens on a Friday night because a lot of news breaks just hours ago, right? PS5. Some are saying Slim. Some are just calling it the PlayStation 5 that has the detachable physical disc. Other people are saying, wow, I don't want nothing to do with it. People can't wait to buy it. We're going to talk about it. We've also got some Forza late minute, breaking news on Forza Motorsport that came out as well. That being said, guys, I want to say, take a second to hit one of those buttons right there. You got a like button. You got a subscribe button. Right above that goddamn beautiful. Look at that description. It looks like my English teacher wrote it last week. Beautiful. Right above it's a join button. That right there is how you join the Mooch Maniac family members, and I appreciate each one of you guys. I see Jeff B. Gaming here, the great Jimmy Harrison, JC 2013. All these family members are kind of pouring in. If you would consider joining the channel and becoming one of those guys and gals that are out there that I hang out with, game, and talk with every single week, it really, really means a lot to the channel, and it means a lot to me. That being said, let me just call each one of these individuals out one by one and say thank you to each one of them. The great Sir X Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, MumbleRanting Gaming, Taysom 509, TrueWiddy, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, who you're going to hear from, Jamie, Damion, the great Jimmy Harrison, Andy Hart, Red Hood 420, who's going to be joining us next week, Hamsolo05, Rob Jones, Dad of War, Night Ripper 7, Toto Dope, Thumbs, JC 2013 in the chat, Passive Prophet, Dex Flex 27, Lord Metroid also here with us tonight, Rabbit Got the Gun, Fastbender, Archwar Angel, Biggity 08, Sonyverse, the great Slow-Mo Backslap, who you're going to hear from. He's going to be joining us in about 15 minutes. Our major Mooch Maniacs. We got a couple new guys here. Corey Massey, thank you. Truth Serum, thank you so much for joining. Astro Cyberg, Ryan Landis, Freddy214, Jeeves, Swiss437, Brian East, God Emperor Sofa King. That's one more word than that would be exhausting. A Rig, Jeff B. Gaming, RPG88, Harry Ball Zach. That's right. That's with a Z, folks. That is with a Z. All right. Now, Julian Johnson, your boy Roy, Scolari Brothers, Smokes 901, DC Gaming, Miko, Gaming with Persona, and Jay Barry, who are back tomorrow with What's Up PlayStation at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's how I start my Saturdays. Last week when they took the week off, I was lost. I was just walking around the house with a controller in my hand for hours. The great Jay Barry and Gaming with Persona. Appreciate both of them. Supreme Samurai, Tactical Gamer, Danelle Brown, That Guy Smitty, Brian B., a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniac, Silent Merc, is back. Button Basher Podcast, Raji, Domino Zero, Shadow Assassin, the Wise Old Gamer, and our honorable mentions. They're out there without food, water, or toilet. Please come home. Dan Hickman, Four-Star General, Isaac Gentry, and get this work. And our forever Mooch Maniacs that'll always be remembered on the channel, the great Longshot 316 and the great Optimus Code. That, guys, being said, I want to say this much. Please hit the like button. Share it out. Let people know that we are live. It's going to be an outstanding show. That being said, I won't waste any more time. We'll get right to this panel on these topics. You know him. He's very opinionated. He does a podcast on Wednesday nights, but then he just does podcasts whenever he's in the mood. The great Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. BRAP, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, Mooch. Just playing Baldur's Gate 3 and having a good time doing so.
I see the FOMO got to you from last week's show.
Yeah, it really did. And,
it's okay.
I got to be honest with you. It's a really good game. Really good game.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it.
BRAP, I told you.
It may not be for everyone, though. I just want to preface that. I would caution some people who have never played a Larian Studios game or not into traditional old school PC RPGs or Dungeons and Dragons. It may not be your cup of tea, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Well, we're going to get into it a little bit because I'll be honest with you, I'm interested to hear what you think about it, to be honest with you, BRAP. Appreciate you being here tonight. And without further ado, we got the great J-Dub City. Jay, listen, I said, if you don't mind pulling up real quick tonight, there's just too many hot topics. And the master of ceremonies himself, the great J-Dub, is with us tonight to discuss these. Some of them, guys, just put your seatbelt on. Jay's going to knock you right out of your chair. Jay, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
What is good? What's good, Mooch? What's good, chat? What's good, panel? Everything is good, man. It's a beautiful Friday.
That's right.
And so can't complain, man. I love Fridays. Love Fridays.
Well, that makes two of us, Jay. I got to tell you, for more reasons than one, that's for sure. Enjoy a nice bourbon after the show. I hope everybody's going to have an adult beverage and some gaming after this. But Jay, great to have you here tonight, buddy. Really is. And I've always tried to reach out. Always. Jay, tonight's going to be a special one for you. Trust me. You saw the topics. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 3 or 4 of them that you could take the mic and I could take a 15-minute break.
Absolutely.
Jay, thank you. The great John Wolf is with us. John, I know you've got a hectic schedule on Friday nights, so it's hard to get you here. But honestly, tonight's one of those nights where, listen, I know this, right? We always say this. It doesn't matter who you name a name, they'll say they're either green or they're blue. Even if they play everywhere and they play on PC, you're either green or you're blue. Everybody says that, right? So you're team green, not necessarily, but people say, oh, John's a big Xbox fan. John, we had to have a voice to come out there. We've had a great conversation before the show. We're going to have a great conversation during the show. John, it is outstanding to have you back on. How you doing this evening?
Doing well, Mooch, and that's what it's all about, man. Conversation, all the joking aside and stuff like that. It's always good to troll and mess around, but when it comes to it, guys, it's just gaming. So don't it's not good to get your panties in a bunch when it comes to stuff like this. And yeah, man. So Mooch, I know you reached out to me maybe 3 other times before, man, but Fridays are kind of a little bit tough with the family life and stuff like that. So I'm glad I'm back on CrossFire, one of the premiere shows on Friday. And like I always said, Mooch, you do a heck of a job, man, and it's great to be on here with everybody else, and looking forward to it. And if the people in the chat don't know, I heard that they're giving PS5 Slims with every Happy Meal at McDonald's.
Oh, so he's got to throw a jab in there last minute.
Yeah, come on, man. You know I had to. Nah, just messing around. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a great show.
Great to have you, John. And listen, I had to actually call a couple of ancestors in Italy to get this guy on the show. This took a lot of work. You guys don't realize it, but I'm sitting there Sunday night. I'm enjoying every minute of Solid Cast. So I said, I got to get him back on the show. The great Blaze 4K is back. Blaze, my paisan, buddy, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. Mooch, I usually don't answer people's DMs.
I know.
when they ask me to do podcasts, but I can't say no to you. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it, buddy.
And then whenever I see J-Dub, it's always an extra plus for me because that's my brother from another mother, to be honest with you.
That's what
Definitely.
But no, I'm glad to see everybody, BRAP and John. Chat, what up?
I appreciate having you, Blaze, honestly, because listen, there's a lot. This is one of those nights, Blaze, where if I had you on and it was ABK talk again, you'd be like, Mooch, listen, have me on another week. All right, I don't want to talk about it.
100%, I would have told you.
I know you would have. I know. I feel like, listen, we've never even met, and I feel like you are legitimately my cousin. Hear me out for a second, please. These topics are literally the things that piss you off a lot of time, and I know that you're going to have some of them probably on Solidcast this week, but hear me out. I'm going to start with you. I got to put Blaze on the hot seat first and foremost, okay? So, listen, this is something that bothered me. I saw actually during the week that you tweeted to J-Dub, hey, when Firewall Ultra comes out, we're linking up, brother. Let's meet up. This tells me, okay, I already know Blaze I already knew he had a PSVR2. When you see the media, right? We saw the Bloomberg article come out before the device even came out. They said this thing's not going to work out. They're already going to cut production by 1 million units. This is never going to sell. Now you're seeing somebody, and again, this isn't actually coming from the IGN affiliate, but it was coming from the senior, I believe it's the senior editor in Ryan. And he says, listen, he goes, I really regret my purchase. There's no games. I haven't touched this thing in a long time. I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Where are you on 2 points? Where are you on the device itself, whether you're enjoying it or not? And then where are you on this media pushback that seems to be on anything that PlayStation really kind of puts out that's a peripheral or anything outside of the console?
People saying that the PSVR don't have games are can we swear? Let me not swear.
Yes, no, go ahead. Speak your mind, please.
Listen, people that like I was seeing Jay Barry like tweet some shit out like, yo, PlayStation VR don't got games. And he's showing a list of games. I've consistently used my PSVR, if not every other day, then daily. Like I try to use that PSVR every single day, bro. Like I don't think people understand what a steal for the price to performance match you're getting on this headset, man. Like every time I put that shit on, like, because going from the Quest and going from the from other VR devices, it's a night and day experience. And I just think, listen, it's going to be, VR it's still looked at as a niche product, it's just not gonna, your controller is always gonna be your go-to device every time you sit down to play a game. That's just the fact. It's never gonna change. People are gonna always pick up a controller.
That's right.
Before they pick up a headset. But I will tell you this: as soon as these first-party Sony games start rolling out on the PSVR, it's gonna get super interesting. This game right here, Firewall, I mean, like there are people still streaming and playing the game right now on the original PSVR. Right now, if you look on Twitch and type in Firewall, there's people streaming and playing this game still. It's a huge community. It's like I can't explain. It's like Call of Duty in VR. Like you got statistics, you got stats, and it's like it's more team based than COD. I'll say that, but like it's just J-Double tell you, like, bro, like this game is like
we spend more hours in that game, right? We spend more hours in that game in VR than probably any other game. Any other game. And it was me, Blaze, all day, and a couple other people. We sink hours into that stuff, and that's an experience you can't get anywhere else.
You can't. And
anywhere else.
And I love my Look, Pavlov is dope, bloody. You can shoot off limbs, arms, all.
Yeah.
But it's a little. Listen, I think PlayStation with this game, they're gonna clean it up. It's gonna be less, dropping clips on the floor, and you know what I mean. I think it's gonna be more fine tuned, like ready to go, run and gun type, like not shit, I just dropped my gun. Oh shit, I picked up the wrong gun type shit like that. Like, it's gonna be more fine tuned, more polished, and I think people are gonna be
realistic. It's more realistic. And keep in mind, guys, it is Unreal Engine 5 game. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, so you're gonna have the high end fidelity and next generation graphics and all that stuff. So can't wait. We all have it pre-ordered. We're going to be on it. Me, Blaze, Day One, whole host of other people. And the mere fact that the PSVR2 just came out in February?
February, yeah.
There's over 162 titles available for it. Majority of them are exclusive to the PSVR PSVR2 platform. I just think people hated it from day one. Like you said, Mooch, the guy went out there, lied. He said Sony cut projections and stuff. Come to find out, they increased projections, and it outperformed the first VR.
That's right. Outsold.
It kind of doesn't matter whether it's VR or PlayStation 5. People are looking to downplay PlayStation at every angle, at every avenue, regardless. And I actually like that. I actually enjoy that. You know why? Because this generation, Sony has not only outdid themselves, but they're making all of these guys take L's, right?
Yeah.
Sony increased their projection of the PS5 sales this year after dudes went out saying, oh, they're lowering projections and stuff. And this thing is just selling like hotcakes, and it's hater proof. That's why I like it. It's hater proof. PSVR2 is hater proof. PlayStation 5 is hater proof. Even fucking PSN, right? PS Plus is hater proof. Come to find out now, even the PlayStation Cloud is hater proof with streaming next generation games in 4K, right? That's something that xCloud, something that Microsoft said that they're moving to a full focus. Don't even have that. So at what point in time are you going to realize, well, all the hating that you've been doing has not panned out for you?
All the greats, J-Dub, all the greats when it comes to sports, when it comes to, branding, everything that's great, gets attacked. You know what I mean? That's just the bottom line. Like when I see people attacking, making false accusations, putting running to Bloomberg, like IG and all this bullshit. Like I just look at it and you just gotta sit back and smile, because like when you're on top, that's what you're gonna get, bro. That's what you're gonna get. And like, are we really gonna sit here and act like PlayStation's on a downfall of shit? They got Sony's got their hands in so much shit, dude. Like they're trying to do everything. And you know what? That might be a good thing, that might be a bad thing, but right now they're literally trying to satisfy everybody. You know what I'm saying? They're literally they got so much products.
Yeah, the mere fact, Blaze, at the end of the day, one thing Sony hasn't lost track of is that it's a video game company. And it has a product that it wants to sell, and the games are so good, its IPs are so good, they're leveraging in movies, TV shows, and everything else under the sun, from the movies, the music, the gaming, VR, shit. They're even making a damn Sony car, right? So at what point are you being so great in all of these avenues? I mean, will people just cut you a break?
Jay, you made a really good point there. Let's take a second to focus on what you said. And John, BRAP, feel free to jump in whenever you guys want to. So you've got a streaming device in I'm going to call it Project Q still. That's what they're saying. And we'll get into that in a moment. Okay, they've got the earbuds coming out. They've got the PSVR2. Sony's really kind of like you said, and Blaze said it. Some stuff will stick and be a success. Some of it we'll find out wasn't. That's fine.
Yeah.
But they're really trying things out, and they're giving us, the gamer, a plethora of things to experience in the world of gaming. And, you know, John, the one reason I go to you here, and by no means, I'll play devil's advocate, I'll play along with you here. But if I could put everybody into a time warp and we go back to 2020, you know, Xbox was supposed to have the most powerful console. They were supposed to have the most games now that they bought Bethesda. They're supposed to have this. They're supposed to have that. The performance. Remember, 60 frames or bust. And, you know, here we are. It looks like
high-end VR. Don't forget the finest.
That's right.
High-end VR.
Highest fidelity VR. You know, and, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, and by no means do you have to be a fan of any of these things. You might say to me, Mooch, listen, I have no intentions of buying that portable device. I have no intentions of buying VR. I'm talking just from a consumer standpoint. Stand back. You're in the aisle. You're looking at the Xbox aisle. You're looking at the PlayStation aisle. And then you see the games, right? The games are the ones that actually do the talking, not to use a phrase that's overused. But like at the end of the day, there's more PlayStation games than we've had come out from like first party Xbox games. And I think when at the end, where are you on some of this stuff, Sean? Because like what we've been told in 2020 hasn't necessarily come true.
Yeah. So what you have is so even though that they're direct competitors, you do have two companies kind of driving in their own lane, which is one of the things.
That's a good point.
Which is one of the things that I really, really like about where let's call them the big three, Nintendo, Xbox and PlayStation. Mm-hmm. They're all driving in their own lanes, even though that they kind of compete in several avenues, right? So one of the things that everybody's correct in their point of view, but it's just the way that these companies are going about their business that's different, right? So with the PSVR2, I think personally for me, what kept me from buying it day one was the fact that I couldn't use it on PC. Now I understand why. It's a marketing advantage that PlayStation trying to use for themselves, so that people will want to obviously buy the console because like hardware is in PlayStation's DNA. Okay. And the thing is that they're always going to want to sell you some type of hardware. All right. So the thing is that I think that the thing that the PSVR2 gets a lot of flack for, I feel, and like J-Dub said, that it had like a bad stigma from the beginning or whatever. A lot of the things that I heard was it doesn't work on PC. The games aren't backwards compatible. They don't have enough exclusives that they've shown. Those are the things I think that have kept it from being in the good graces of the consumer. Now, like you guys said, you guys are owners of it. You guys are advocates of it because you have the hardware and you use it on a daily basis. So you can speak up on some of these things like that the media is saying. Yeah. But this is kind of where I'll become kind of like the Xbox Defense Force, right?
Yes.
The same way that you guys are advocates for this piece of tech and this piece of hardware, this is kind of like, looking at it from the Xbox perspective, we're happy with the console. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's one of those things that everybody's saying, oh, Xbox had no games, oh, Xbox had no. They had their services, they had their games releasing. When you're saying that, they did release the most powerful console. It's been proven time after time that the console outperforms, in a lot of titles. So I kind of get what you're saying, but at the same time, I kind of like
who? Hold on. Outperform who? The Series S?
No, the PS5.
More times than not, John.
No.
More times than not, the PS5 is winning.
No,
the
PS5 has been, PS5 has been stumping. Here's the thing about it, right? And this is the truth of the matter. No matter who wants to accept it or not, this should even be a debate. The PS5 is what, 10 T-flops, 9 T-flops, whatever you wanna give it. Give it 9 T-flops, right? The Xbox Series X is 12 point something odd T-flops, right? Yeah. It was advertised as the world's most powerful console. It's 3 extra T-flops. This shouldn't even be a discussion. But the mere fact that it's debatable if a Series X game runs, even a multi-plat runs better than having a much weaker console.
Well,
now we all know from Digital Foundry, we all know from various other things.
NX
We see
Gamer.
these, NX gamers. We see these videos, we see these charts and stuff like that, right? The mere fact that the PS5 in more opportunities than none actually outperforms the Xbox Series X.
Well, we have
it shouldn't even be debatable.
Yeah, and John, just to give an example real quick, today High on Life released recently on PlayStation 5. We all know High on Life was in Game Pass day one, and it was it released on the Xbox first. And Digital Foundry did their analysis, and in performance mode, it was I only saw a clip. Yeah. I'm sure there's another, how they do their videos, right? It's 50 minutes on doing. All right, I watched a clip on it. I'll watch the rest of it. But in performance mode, at 60 frames, I believe it was hitting average 1800p on the PS5, and it was averaging 1400p on the Xbox Series X. And again, this is a situation where, John, by the way, let's be honest. And I think everyone on the panel will agree with me here, because I don't want John to feel like he's under fire. John, I don't really care. No, my eyes don't care if it's 1800p or 1400p, first of all.
No, but it's not even about that, Mooch. I think that the thing is that it's one of those things that like with kind of like the comparison that you guys are giving me, I can throw something right back, and I can say, why does the Series S have more 120 frame games than the PS5? It's something
because they're all backwards compatibility 360 games. They're all old games. They're all 360 games.
Can we stop? Can we stop with the constant like just like taking things out of context, like this whole the Series S is 120. No, there's context here that everyone's not everyone, but what you, John, and some of the bots do, the hand wave. It's how Microsoft marketed the Series X. That's what we're talking about. It's not that there's more 120 games on Series S. It's they market this as the most powerful console on planet Earth ever made. 12 teraflops, velocity architecture, all these things. They said it themselves. Go back and look at like the reveal trailers for Project. What was it? What the hell was Project
Scarlet?
The series, Project Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Yeah. Like think about that.
So they hid the video. They profited the video because of that.
Yeah. So
I have the clips.
This always like this. I just get tired of this. Oh well, what about the Series S? Like that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about.
But it's a fact.
But that's not what we're talking about.
But it's also back compact games, John.
We're talking about talking about that's the other thing. We're talking about back compact games. I run games that are old on my PC, ultra settings 144. Yeah. I'm not gonna. That's not a flex. Well,
let me.
But wait, let me just finish something else.
Sure, go ahead.
And what bothers me too is that like there's like there's no accountability, no holding Microsoft their feet to the fire.
Absolutely.
That's not true at all. But that's not true at all, bro.
It's very true. It's very true.
That's not true at all.
It is, John. It is very, John. It is.
Haven't let me finish my point.
No, well, because I'm talking. I see it every day. I see it every day on my timeline. Every day on Twitter. It's like, it's when I brought the Series X, Microsoft's the most powerful console. I'm thinking, oh shit. I'm thinking we're gonna get first. And I never. By the way, I never came into the expectation that all third-party games are going to run better on the Series X. I thought I was inclined to think that potentially, but then if you've been following gaming for the last 40 years like I have, you'd understand that typically the console that has the most high install base typically gets the more shine, gets the more polish. And that's what we're seeing with the PlayStation 5 because they have the install base. Look.
And it could be that they have the better tools too.
But that's Microsoft's fault. They don't have the better tools to give developers. But my point is this, and Microsoft's a software company. But here's the thing. If where they should have shown the power of the Series X is first party.
Yep.
And they
I won't disagree with you.
There is no reason why we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
32 months into the console generation, and you look at hardware sales, and these things matter because you look at hardware sales, down what? 13% year over year?
BRAP, how many first party games does PSVR2 have?
I don't care about PSVR2. I'm talking about Xbox right now.
We're talking about PSVR2
Okay, but I'm talking about Xbox right now. PSVR2 has first-party games.
It only been out a couple of months. It has 6 first-party titles with two launching this month.
But here's where I find your argument disingenuous, John. You're skating by the fact that in fact, within how long has PSVR2 been out? Like a year or so?
No, February.
No. Since February. 4 months.
Yeah.
They actually have games that speak to the headset. That take advantage of the feature sets that were advertised for that device.
And why are people complaining?
People,
Well, you gotta look at
people that are complaining don't even fucking own the headset.
They don't own it. Yeah.
Wait, John.
I'm telling you, bro.
And this is like a common bot, like tactic that you guys use. I'm going to channel my inner Optimus code here.
I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you. Hold on,
John. I'll help you in slow-mos here for you too. Don't worry, John.
These pesky. I'm going to channel my inner Optimus
tag me
code
in,
here.
bro.
My these pesky bots. They always obfuscate things and they try to twist things around and gaslight. But look, the point is that even with the PlayStation,
trying to do that. Just trying to have a conversation, BRAP.
I'm saying no, you're not. I'm saying with the PlayStation VR2, we have tangible evidence, like deliverables, that take advantage and speak to what Sony said this device can do. You can't sit there and say, well, what about the PSVR2? And then you can't sit there and follow up with, well, some people don't like it. So you had one person that said they didn't like it. Maybe the PSVR2 isn't for Ryan McCaffrey.
I think that you're. I think that you're taking.
Let me finish. And no one on this panel said that PSVR2 is everywhere. Look, there's an addressable market for VR. VR is not for everyone. I would never say VR is for everyone. VR may not be for Ryan McCaffrey. I don't agree with Ryan saying there's no games. I think what Ryan probably should have said is, hey, you know what? I think what Ryan probably should have said is, look, there's no games that I'm interested in right now.
Absolutely.
That would have been
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, John, BRAP, if you're all right, let me let John go ahead and rebuttal there.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, BRAP, I'm glad you got fired up. Because
it's CrossFire.
Yeah, of course. I was just trying to make a comparison as to why I believe the PSVR2 hasn't caught fire, and the simple fact I was trying to make was that the same way that that Blaze and J-Dub, you guys have come on the show early and you've defended it because you guys play with the hardware. It's the same way that the Xbox space feels about the most powerful console, quote unquote, right? So it's one of those things that is just, it's the reason that the PSVR2, I think, is getting so much flack was for those things that I mentioned. It's because there's like this energy about it, right? That it's just, Sony isn't, I guess you can say PlayStation, at least to me, feels like if they're not giving it their all when it comes to the PSVR2. And maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just you. It's just you.
Well, John, the thing is, John, here's the reason, John, the reason I think that...
The reason... chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess, here's why I don't agree with that. Like, you're saying they're not giving their all, and that's fine. That's your opinion. But they announced over 150 something games. They released first party titles. They have more stuff.
Over 106. Oh yeah, we have over 160 games in the store right now for PSVR2.
Yeah, like I don't know how that's not giving it their all. Now, obviously, like they're not going to invest in it. This should be obvious. They're not going to invest in it in the way they do with the PlayStation 5 because this is a peripheral device. There's a specific addressable market for it, and so they're not gonna like invest as much as they are with PlayStation 5 because why would they? That's not the main driver of revenue for their business.
Yeah,
it's an accessory.
Right. So
let me say this one thing.
Yeah,
let me say this one thing, right? Let me say this one thing and I'll shut up. Here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, you can love what you love, you can like what you like. It's all fine. But the problem is Xbox guys have been lying to themselves for 3 years now, and the problem is it hasn't helped Xbox.
About what?
Listen.
Lying about what?
Lying about games, about performance, about just anything. It has not helped Xbox, the console, Xbox, the brand.
They're making more money. They're making more money than they ever have.
Kudos. But guess what? If you're an Xbox console gamer, really, what does Microsoft's money? How has that helped you thus far? They're already the world's richest company. You're sitting here. You're not even getting games that just randomly come to PlayStation and Nintendo and PC because you have your console. You have one weak console that's hamstrung. You got parity clause. You got a bunch of other issues. But instead of focusing on those issues, the mere fact today that we found out again another game. Forza Motorsport is missing features. The basic features that should be there day one. It's missing features. So they're releasing all these incomplete games with all of these incomplete modes and features that they were promised. And this is the world's most powerful console. And this, I guess, the world's weakest console at this point in time in the next generation space. Redfall, your first next generation game, low Metacritic thing. we don't know what's going on with Starfield, right? It still hasn't gone gold yet, and the game comes out in about 2.5 weeks. I guess if you bought the the top tier package,
Yeah, the ultimate package.
There's just a lot of stuff that's going on, and I know what it is. It's just a deflection. The Xbox community is deflecting, and I think the problem was the Xbox community focused so much on what's going on with PlayStation instead of realizing what was going on in their own homes with their console. And you got the world's most powerful console that has nothing to show any of the power. And guess what? At this point, you're probably not, because we're almost at halftime.
J-Dub, you know what they say? You know what the Xbox? I know what they're thinking. Well, Blaze, and if they gave a fuck about PSVR, then why isn't Naughty Dog making PSVR games? And I thought about it for a second. I said, you know what? Yeah, they could make one of these big developers make a PSVR, but that's not their expertise. Yo, making VR games and making games are two different things, bro.
Different things.
They're making games for PlayStation 5. Okay, the console. Then there's this accessory called PSVR2, and they're gonna have other developers make games. I just want to take it back when the Xbox Series X, the Scorpio, whatever the fuck they
Xbox One X.
Trash ass fucking name, by the way, Xbox. I see what I'm saying. I can't even remember what X and S it is. Then what I'm saying is, back then when the Pro and the X were going head to head, Assassin's Creed, all these games, the X was edging it out resolution-wise all the fucking time. It's a head scratcher when you keep seeing, Harry Potter, all these games come out, and the PS4 is not just winning by a little bit. It's like it's dominating the line. It's just weird.
I'm sorry, Blizz, I mean interrupt, but here's the other thing too. Like John said, they're making more revenue ever. But why? Why? What's driving revenue? They're squeezing more pennies out of the install base. They're also on PC now, so there's that. They're also on mobile. But look at their growth, though. Look at Game Pass. We know subscriptions have stalled.
Yep.
We know that hardware is down 13%.
30% the quarter before.
Yeah, 30% the quarter, 13% the quarter now, this past quarter. And you're 32 months in the generation. If you go back historically, John, you look at growth numbers on consoles, you don't get negative growth 32 months into the console generation.
Well, it's losing to the Xbox One, guys. Think about that. Well, it's losing to the worst generation ever. It's losing to the Xbox One with two next generation consoles.
Well, let's think about this. You've had Xbox kind of marketing that you don't need a console this whole generation. So
who fault is that?
But
that still brings them into their. It's still guys.
John. Listen, I've seen that argument, John. Honestly, I'll back you up here for a second. You're saying Microsoft has been pushing this narrative that you don't need a console, right? So you're saying, well, what would you expect? But let me ask you something.
I don't know.
You're a console fan, right?
And they have one. They have two available for people like me, right?
Are they giving you, John, what you wanted? I mean that sincerely. I'm asking the question. Are you genuinely happy?
Phil Spencer.
I mean, are you excited for what you have? If you are, the answer is yes. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you.
After the Xbox One generation, they spent the whole time getting their teeth kicked in and coming out and spending $80 billion. I mean, I don't know how as a Xbox consumer,
as a lot of John. As a lot of
their teeth kicked in. That's the problem.
But as a lot of people that I know say this all the time, of that 69 billion of the 80 you're mentioning, those games are going to be on PlayStation too. So what they get?
Wait, the other thing too is
they're competing, guys.
They've always been competing. They've always been competing. Look, the thing is, here's the thing.
Competing with who?
Here's the thing, real quick, J-Dub. Like people talk about they're marketing. You don't need an Xbox. That's why sales are down. No, nothing's changed in the 22 years that I've been on the Xbox platform in terms of how they performed in the market. You don't believe me? Look at the console sales numbers. They've always been in third place in hardware. That hasn't changed. That has nothing to do with them marketing that you don't need an Xbox today.
But BRAP, I'm not here to convince anybody that Xbox is better than PlayStation or Nintendo at this game. That's not what I'm trying to do.
The gamers have spoken. The gamers have spoken.
We're discussing the performance. Yeah, but John,
can I ask you a question, bro?
Reacted to the platform.
Of course.
Look, you can't listen, man. I bought that Series X day one. You can't. At least for me, you know me, man. Out of all the ponies, I play Xbox game. You can check my achievements. I beat their games, all that. What I'm trying to say is you can't be satisfied with that, bro. You spent $500. I feel like they haven't, even the first party games they have delivered, they've been just not up to par. You can say they spent all this money, but I don't see the benefits of them spending all that money that they spent. I still haven't seen the benefits of it.
Well, I get what you mean for that instant gratification, Blaze, but they're building, so it's coming. And you saw this past show, you know, with the
that
titles,
last generation. Y'all said that last generation. It's coming.
John,
Here we are, another
John,
generation.
John, what?
Gotta wait till next generation. Next
John,
generation.
John, please articulate what it is they're actually building.
They're building a foundation under Game Pass, BRAP. I mean, it's pretty simple to see that when they bought Bethesda and all the developers that they did in 2018. Look, Xbox could have been having exclusive guys for all these years and years and years, but they stayed true to their contracts for legal obligations to play the good guy, all that stuff. Of course, we all know the legal mumbo jumbo of it. But if they really wanted to, they could have made all those games exclusive, right? And they would have had exclusive content, which has been a big kind of like stigma to them. So I get what you guys are saying, and you guys are all kind of like wanting me to admit here, like, oh, Xbox hasn't delivered for you. I don't feel that way, and I'm sorry.
I don't want you to get that job, by the way.
But there's
no.
But there's, I mean, the same way I'm not sitting here trying to tell Blaze, hey, PSVR hasn't delivered. I speak for myself, right? I said, hey, this is the reason why why I didn't purchase PSVR. I can only speak for myself, right?
That's fair.
So that's the only thing. That's the only thing that I'll say. Now, again, with the PSVR, right? Because that's kind of like what this conversation started with. The thing that's going to get me excited, because yes, I do prefer the Xbox ecosystem, even though even though it's generation, to be honest with you guys, I've gone full PC, right? But I do prefer the Xbox generation, the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is that what'll get me excited to see PlayStation do is show me a little bit more engagement. And what I mean by that with the PSVR2, show me, like this last show that they had, it would have been nice to see them have a couple more of their, you know, first party.
They should have
spent
more time on VR. They should have spent more time.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know, because just to get those on the fence excited, you know, and that's it. I mean, it's basically, you'll get my money. That's all you got to do.
Okay. Well, let me go to.
How in the world did we get to talking about Xbox off of a PSVR2 conversation?
Slow-mo, I was about to introduce you and say, Slow-mo, let me bring it back to the question. Yeah. Well, you know, Slow-mo, you know that it's always going to go back to a console war. And listen, you know what's funny? People always,
clearly.
Right, well, people, but you know, Slow-mo, you know what kills me? And I'm glad Slow-mo brings that up. Because, you know, people on the internet are always like, I'm so sick and tired of console wars. Go ahead and click on their link and then look at their tweets. Funny. And like, exactly, 20 tweets after they say, why are we fighting? They're console warring. So listen, Slow-mo, right? That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
One of them.
Yeah, Slow-mo loves it, right? Slow-mo.
Enrique,
come on, Mooch. Say J-Dub's name, man.
You better.
Listen, me, J-Dub, everybody. It don't matter. It don't matter.
I'm guilty. I get paid to console war. I don't know.
Listen, that's why John. Listen, that's why.
Remember that thing you put out today on Twitter?
What?
You're doing it right now.
That's what. Oh, come on!
No,
Stop. Slow-mo is absolutely in the best spirits of his life right now, BRAP. So I don't want to. And by the way, Slow-mo, I voted. Slow-mo.
Enrique be lying all the time, man.
Gotta be lying. Wait,
Slow-mo.
Where's Forte?
Enrique is just a habitual liar all the time. I'm saying,
Slow-mo, I don't remember exactly how you worded it, but I voted no. You are not angry or mean at all. I think Slow-mo just speaks his mind and speaks facts. Yes, absolutely. Slow-mo, you know I always have your back.
Slow-mo's a great guy.
He's outstanding.
Thank you, Blaze.
Outstanding. Slow-mo,
Slow-mo's my guy, bro.
So
I agree.
Let me pivot a little bit on this question because we got a couple other topics that I really want to get to. But Slow-mo, real quick to get your take on it before we move on. All right. I'll ask it in a different fashion, but I want to ask it in a bit of a different fashion. Do you feel like there's just and it's funny because I think if anybody's a big Xbox fan, they'll go Mooch, but wait, I feel the other way around. But I feel like there's just been a negative connotation right around the PlayStation brand as soon as we were entering, just before 2020, before the consoles came out. It seemed like that big push for Xbox. Everyone was behind it. All the people that worked for IGN that were big Xbox guys flipped right over, or pardon me, PlayStation guys flipped right over to Xbox. So, Slow-mo, when you see someone like Ryan and he wasn't representing IGN, this was his own Twitter, this was his opinion, which he's entitled to. But when you see something like that and he says, I regret spending roughly, I'll round up $600, I don't feel there's any games. Do you see how and you also had that one gentleman from Bloomberg say that they cut production. Takashi,
yeah. Man, Ryan McCaffrey got a face that I would just beat. Go ahead.
So slow mo. My question to you is: do you feel there's a push back when really the actual device came out in February? There's over 100 and something games available right now. Their first party's got another game or two coming out this month, and one being Firewall Ultra, which is massive. So, Slomo, where are you on the media stance and what you're reading? Because you're reading all these things that I'm reading. How do you feel? Do you feel there's some sort of like there's just this like behind the scenes like coup or no?
I don't think there's like a behind the scenes coup. I think what they do is they like to play both sides a lot of times, and they understand how the console war works better than anyone else, and they know how they can get certain sides riled up. Especially considering how now on Twitter you can get paid for console warring.
Oh, good point.
Big facts.
Big facts. Make some money on the side because IGN don't
Shout
pay.
out to Elon. Shout out to Elon.
IGN don't pay enough for like go ahead.
$20 an article. Remember?
Give you a little pocket change.
I'll take the bag. I'll take the bag. Why not?
That's right.
So I do think that's part of it, but like just me personally, I kind of understand where he's coming from, just for the fact that I don't like VR. Period. Like I tried VR and I don't have a PSVR2, so I can't speak specifically to that. But I had Oculus Quest 2. I ended up selling it because just like I just don't like VR, and like even the best games that people was like, oh, play this, and I was just like, oh, I bet I'm buying all these games to play, and when I'm playing, I'm just like, this really isn't for me. And I think there are maybe for Ryan McCaffrey, because like he's speaking for his own personal experience. VR in general just ain't for him, because I agree with you guys. There is content there, and if any platform gives up to 6 first-party games within a year, I would say you're supporting that platform, absolutely. But just because you have content that's there doesn't mean that it's going to appeal to everyone. I think VR overall has a problem, because it's so expensive for someone to just give it a shot, and it might not be something that they may actually be feeling overall. And so until VR can get to a point where it is, I would say, probably cheaper than a console, which is like, I mean, we're talking like years and years from now, where the technology has advanced to the point where you can actually do something like that, and it becomes more in the sense that like with the Meta Quest 3 and the Quest 2 and the VR2, where it's just either one cable or it's no cable at all, or it's a lot less bulky, then I really don't see it becoming a mainstream thing. So I think a lot of people will end up always kind of not feeling VR, regardless of the level of quality of the games that are there, just because it's not going to fit a lot of people's cup of tea.
So let me do this real quick. Shout out to Donnell Brown. And remember, BRAP, Donnell's a big fan of yours as well. He says here, I need to come on the show so I can give BRAP all the smoke. All he does is cap, LOL. So shout out to Donnell Brown. Yobo's here. Listen, guys, the super chat's working. Help Mooch out. I'm a Mooch for crying out loud. He says, and you're hearing it here first, that Xbox might be slightly above PlayStation in sales worldwide. Of course, he's Yobo. You didn't have to go there, Yobo. Shout out to the great Donnell Brown, who's back again. He says, oh, crap, we got J-Dub on here about to start stuff. Hey, J-Dub, you listen to OT from Texas. I don't know if is he talking about
Yeah.
All right. The great Donnell Brown.
Donnell Brown always starting stuff. You must be a Cowboys fan.
No. Can't stand the
Cowboys fan.
Can't stand the Cowboys.
He's a Giants fan.
I would love it if he was. But
this is J-Dub's entertainment, bro. He, like literally,
this is entertainment.
Oh my! Yeah, I know.
I don't mind it. I appreciate J-Dub. He makes me laugh.
He does. Johnny's great.
We're the
Johnny's the
Xbox of the NFL. We understand. I understand.
You see your number one pick throwing picks. Love it, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, we got the Astros. At least we got the Astros.
Let's not even talk about that, Jay. It's a soft spot. Soft spot. Hey, listen, if Verlander's going to go anywhere, let him go back to the Astros and get another ring. Let him get a chip. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that.
Plus, you guys trying to fight over championships, huh?
Yeah. Well,
that's funny. We got more rings than the Audi sign around here, man. I don't know what you guys look. But,
sports.
No, but look, can I just say one thing about
please.
Ryan McCaffrey too? Because he just fucking annoys me, bro. Like I feel like he buys this shit just to he's like one of them dudes that buy this shit just so he can critique it and run it down. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is going to Ryan McCaffrey? No offense to him. I don't know the good brother, but who the fuck is going to Ryan McCaffrey for any type of VR advice or like, oh, I don't give a fuck about his opinion. I really don't. Yep. Okay? Like, he's trying PSVR out for the first time. Like, I don't want to hear, like, I'm not going to him for VR advice. You know what I mean? And like Slow-Mo said, yes, it's not going to be for everybody. It's really not. But, like, man, it matters what you're wearing on your head. I'm telling you. It really fucking does.
Yeah, no,
like
that's a good point.
If you're seeing pixels, if you're seeing a screen door effect, if you're seeing an LCD panel and colors are all washed out, like I'm telling you, what you wear in your head fucking matters, bro. It's not gonna completely matter, but it makes a big difference when you have a great panel and you're immersed in your situation. I'm telling you, bro.
They don't even understand. The eye tracking technology is, listen,
bro, it's nuts.
It is spot on. Anyone in the audience that's listening, oh, Mooch, what do you mean? Legitimately, I always choose. It gives you an option, right? Jay will tell you, Blaze will tell you. Yeah. It'll say to you, you can do traditional methods for selecting, or you can use your eyes. I always use my eyes, and it works. I'm telling you, it works 100% of the time.
It's crazy. You just look.
What do they call it? Foveated rendering, where it uses your eyes. Yeah. Look, I admit, like the Meta 2 isn't a great headset. Its biggest appeal was that you could play it wireless and you didn't have to be tethered.
No, the Quest 2 is a great headset, bro.
It is. It is.
It's entry level.
Here's the thing, guys, about VR, right? And I get it. A lot of people want it to be wireless. The only thing about wireless is you're not going to have the processing power. You can't have the graphical power that you would if something was plugged in hardwired because the bandwidth is not there, right? So it is what it is, and we'll never get a wireless headset that's going to give you the high fidelity, just the highest end type of graphics and stuff like that. It's never going to happen.
Well, not for that price.
Told me that
not for that price.
No, you gotta no. So here's the thing. Back to Ryan McCaffrey. When I saw his comments, I just laughed and I just moved on because it's typical, right? With people like this. When he first tried the headset on, he played it with Gran Turismo. He sat in his favorite car, the DeLorean that he had, and he cried. He said it was just like it's sitting in my car in real life. It was, he sold it and he said, listen, guys, this is not cap. Y'all know I'm an X-Bot, but this thing is the real thing. He said that. That's why somebody went ahead and posted back to his original, that video when he was crying over PSVR2. They posted that. He said, yeah, that was back then, but ever since then, it's just been collecting dust. Well, everybody says something is collecting dust if that's not where you want to play. And let's face it, if you're a diehard Xbox guy, right? You love Xbox to the T, that's where you want to be. Even if you have a PlayStation, even if you have a PC, even if you have a Switch or whatever, you're going to want to play on your Xbox. And you will sit your PlayStation 5 to the side. It will sit around for months collecting dust because you want to play on Xbox. That doesn't mean that product is trash. That doesn't mean that there's no games for it. That just means you're comfortable where you want to play. And it's okay. And that's fine. And I'm okay with his statements if that's what he feels. But it's ironically, everybody, as soon as he made that statement, they post a list of 160-some games that were out. And it's like 8 PSVR2 games, big ones that are coming out this month. So he chose the worst time to make that statement. What he should have said is, there's no games that appeal to me that I find worthy right now based on what I'm seeing that's worth it for me. That's what he should have said, and nobody would have said anything about that.
Well,
he chose to say PSVR2 doesn't have any games, and I'd spend $600 on it, and
plus tax. He said plus tax.
I was just gonna say the great Jez 7780. Jez, thank you for joining us tonight, buddy. Actually, great timing.
Here.
I appreciate you being here, Blaze. I gotta say, shout out to it's Alex. Alex, I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for the super chases. Shout out to Blaze. I'm your Pappy 4K. I'm sure you know exactly what he means there, Blaze. He says PSVR2 is one of the best VR headsets on the market and should have been PC compatible day one. So, Blaze, what do you think about that? Because listen, John said it. I've heard Alex said it on this show. So, Blaze, where are you on?
Yeah. So you can look. Here's the thing about PSVR2. So like you can use it. You just need an adapter. But it's not all the way there yet. Here's the thing. They should have made it a day one. It should be working day one. That's the thing. And I understand they're trying to sell their PS5s and shit, but just like PC gamers will absolutely jump to the PSVR because, like I said, the price to performance, and it's a great headset and all that. We all know this shit, but I'm telling you, once they do that, you're gonna see an increase in sales big time. They
would have had my money. They would have had my money day one, Blaze.
Yeah, no,
I know
listen,
they
I know a
wouldn't. No,
lot
they
of
wouldn't.
people got PCs, but look,
Cap.
I'm
It's
telling
all
you,
cap.
here's the thing about people saying they would have had my money,
It's
they would
all
have had my
cap.
money. John, you know what the thing
Oh,
is,
J-Dub, you got access to my bank account? I
No,
didn't know.
but John, if you wanted it,
I'm not
if
talking
you
about
wanted
you
it,
or
you
your
would have had
money.
it.
What I'm saying, I'm saying it's capped for the PC side because you got to realize, right? As a PC gamer, right, that has every single VR headset ever since the Oculus DK1, right? I call cap, and the reason I call cap is because there's been plenty of PSVR units across the PC spectrum, and it's fragmented. Everyone tends to go here and go there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I think Oculus. Hold on, let me finish. I think Oculus is kind of the standard now for PC, especially because of price performance or whatever. And sure, dudes would have liked to have a better headset on their PC, and eventually it's go there. But that's what PC gamers, right? And at the end of the day, the shit is still
I thought the
500.
Vive was better
It's
on
still-
PC with Steam.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
But listen,
you know.
it's still
The
still
Vive is like $800.
Well,
Yes.
I think it's a better
Yes.
VR though.
For
on
me,
It was
PC over
actually, it
Oculus.
was
But
actually
J-Dub-
$14.99 when it came out. It was
But
actually
J-Dub-
$14.99.
yeah.
And you need adapters and all this bullshit.
Yes.
But
yes.
for me, J-Dub, it would have been a double whammy. I could have used it with my PlayStation and PC. That's why. So you see, that's
But the
John,
thing is, what would you use?
PSVR2.
John,
If they would have
what
released
games
the
would you
same
play with
price, if they would have released the PSVR2
the same
on PC at the same price that it is,
PC dudes play. The same
But, like, the thing is like, yeah, if it works, the hardware working on PC will be fine. But what games would you play on it? Like, you got to make sure that all the devs or whatever the software works with the hardware. Like, the hardware could be compatible with PC. You get the drivers to work, but then you got to get the games to conform to that. And are the devs going to do it or mods are going to do it? The problem is that the library will not be the same if it works on PC. They would have to really like. That's why I don't understand. Like, if fact that works on PC, what would you do?
It would use Quest controllers to mimic PS. They would do something.
But the mod community will need to do it. That's the thing.
PSVR2 was built directly for the PlayStation 5 and all of its inherent features of that, right?
Yeah,
the 3D audio, the dual, the haptic feedback, and all that stuff.
That's
All of
haptic
that
feedback
stuff,
on PC.
No. Listen,
that don't mean shit.
You gotta listen to me. You gotta listen
right now.
You gotta listen to me.
Every single PlayStation game that's on PC got haptic feedback the same way it's on PlayStation right now.
But listen, you gotta listen to me, right? What I'm saying is
magical SSD as well.
These things are made specifically for the PS5, right? Now, if you're playing a PlayStation game on PC and like you're just like you're playing with your DualSense Edge controller, right? If you're playing it on PC, Sony will enable that feature in those coded hard features that's in there to allow you to take advantage of some of that stuff. But on majority of the games, right, that you play, it doesn't have that. Again, these developers have to fine tune a lot of this shit for you to get the same experience. And that's what I'm saying. It's all about fine tuning and optimization. And a lot of that stuff you just not get on PC because.
But are we talking about Sony actually putting it on PC or not just modders making it so that it works?
Okay, but there's no difference.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, but the Quest 2 didn't work on PC.
If Sony is actually putting it on PC, then you're going to get that kind of support.
Yes.
Like the questions of, hey, are they going to fine tune it? That's their problem. If you're going to put it on PC, put it on PC and fine tune it. Damn it! Like that's what we expect. The same way on PlayStation, if you get a game that comes out and you expect that they actually have all the features that are a part of the console, you expect that stuff to be there. Like if they're going to put it on PC, and then this is all hypothetical because they haven't, right? But if they're going to put it on PC, you expect them to do all that work, which is exactly what they've done for every PlayStation game that they've eventually put on PC. They put the work in, they got all that stuff working. So I don't see it as a problem. It's not a problem at all. The whole thing is like if they wanted it to, like I don't know if they feel the sales are great or not right now. Like I don't care, but if they wanted to sell more, absolutely, it was so great on PC when you could consider the next comparable headset is Valve's headset at $1,000. You're looking at
Yep.
you come out and you price that where they price it on PlayStation. That's $400 less for more power, more features. That would have been a huge sell.
That would have flew. Yeah,
this is a conversation we had on the show about 6 months ago, so I forgot. Is the PSVR1 presently, is that compatible with PC, or is it's
from modders, not from Sony?
Not from Sony, correct? Okay, so
not from Sony. There was a project that mods did to make it work.
Okay, so that's so we can almost
I got it
assume...
to work on my PC. It was bullshit. But
yeah, but it wasn't created by Sony. It wasn't driving.
No, okay, but listen, who gives a shit if it's created by Sony or not? I'm telling you, the Quest 2 when it first launched, there was no fucking PC support. There was like literally, it was called I forgot what the hell it was called. Full screen something. You had to buy this application for $5 and it worked great.
You had to try to get it to work.
But now, they like Meta is like understanding, like, listen, let's just open this up. Now it's natively working. You can natively wirelessly sync it to your PC. You can plug in a USB-C cable. And that's the other thing. It's a USB-C cable. It's just a matter of time. I don't know. If I was Sony, I would make that priority. If I was Sony right now, I would make making that.
I could see them in a year or two making it work. I could see they're already doing some of their games on PC.
They launch their own launcher on PC. I think because I think if they're going to put the time in and start having their own,
they're going to do it right. They're going to do it right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
If they want to take 100% of all the revenue for it, they don't want to give 30%.
Because then you got to have the game. You're right.
Yeah,
then that means you're going to have to put all the PSVR.
I'll be all for that.
2 games on there, the Horizon and all that stuff is going to have to be ported over to PC and all that stuff. So yeah, that means they just can't okay, here you go, it's enabled, and then people are sitting around waiting for those games to come, to come and do all that stuff. So,
I think I'll move on to the next topic, but I think Jay said it best. If Ryan had actually put that tweet out 3 months ago, it may have had a little more validity to it. But now, there's a lot of games, big games coming out for it this month. I mean, this is a really bad. That tweet just didn't hold a lot of water.
And I gotta say, like, with his thing, like, first off, that thing launched with a lot of games, and probably more than the Xbox did. You had a whole freaking launch lineup for the PSVR2, and I'm very impressed about how many games they've been putting out for it since then. Like, there's been so many games. They had what the red what the hell
Red
there
Matter,
was? The
Red Matter
Synapse?
Red Matter 2. Switchback VR. I mean, there's a million little ones, too.
They've been putting a lot of games out. Like, I've been pretty impressed for, like, how they supported this thing. Because they, to be honest, they have been really quiet pushing this thing. Like, this thing really wasn't, they didn't have, I don't think, the huge marketing push that they did. And I thought, and I speculated that this PSVR 2 was more of a soft launch, especially launching that hardware and software in February. I think the holiday, they might be trying to market it more to go along with the PlayStation trying to market that hardware, because they really never did a huge marketing push for it. But I was surprised at the lineup of games and their continuing support for it coming out with what they've done. And I tell you, I use it almost every week. I play Sync Riders on it. That's like, I do that, and then I play. I've been finishing up the Horizon, and I find that it's a quick fix. Like, it's so easy to just turn it on and just use it.
That game you just said, and Beat Saber. I mean, you could lose if you do that every day. You could lose about 15 pounds a week. I'm not kidding you.
Dude,
what a cardio workout
doing,
that
man.
is.
They drop music and stuff like that, and I know that game is available there. But the convenience too is that the fact that it's just, you don't need sensors and stuff like that. You just turn it on and it just works. Like, it's so much better than the first one, where the camera had to be the lighting, and the camera had to be there. You had to configure. You had to use those stupid freaking orb things. Like, the convenience of this one, it's great.
Can we admit, guys, that probably never? It's hard when you have a $500, $600 peripheral, right? Because it is a peripheral. You're never going to get a 1-to-1 adoption ratio. You're never going to get
that's a guarantee
under anything.
That's a guarantee for it doesn't matter what it is. It's a guarantee.
I feel like there's an expectation of, like, you got to sell. If there's 40 million PS5s out there,
I'll be right back, Mooch.
Okay.
All right. Unless you sell 20 million VR2s, it's a flop. And it's like, dude, it's a $500, $600, and it costs more than the console, right? And if you're thinking about it with digital.
It's a lot upfront,
you're never going to be able to get that. There's sell
Jacob, who's complaining about this shit? Who's complaining about shit? Xbox guys, dudes that
exactly.
really fucking like PSVR.
I wouldn't expect, Exactly.
So let me do this.
That's
We're
true.
going to switch
Ryan
over to...
McCaffrey did say that the Xbox gaming drought was declared officially over in 2021 too. The same
Oh
clown.
yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, that's
He's a
right.
fucking
That's true.
clown, bro.
And then-
Like
it was officially
you gotta
over,
look at
according
the
to him.
user scores of like if PSVR users are complaining on Twitter, then there's a fucking problem. But if everybody listen, if PSVR users are majority happy, I would say 85-90% are absolutely happy with it. Then what the fuck? Like, why are we even bringing these topics? Like, what's the point of
Blaze?
covering
Blaze,
clowns?
you're not wrong, Blaze. In all honesty, I couldn't believe it. And let's get down to it, right? So thanks to Elon and paying everybody on Twitter, his tweet within I think it was 24 hours had over 1 million views. So I mean, he's making the quota. You know, he got paid for that tweet.
He pulling the J-Dub.
He pulled the J-Dub. He did. So Blaze, I'll go to you first on this one again. I like to get your opinion on it, and then we'll go from here. So now, again, I have done a good job. And all you guys in the audience, give me some credit, will you? I have not brought up Game Pass in a long time. So get off my back. No, I'm okay. Blaze.
There's no games, that's why.
Well, there's that.
Talk about in games.
But Blaze, I want to ask you now, Forza Motorsport, the news broke today, will be missing 3 legacy features, all right? And the 3 legacy, spectator mode, racing with AI and multiplayer, and split screen. So, you know, a lot of people, we used to say this before. We said it, Halo Infinite was completely empty. The campaign, the world was empty. The missions got repetitive quick. The
Mooch, let me cut you off, brother. Huh?
What is going
when is
on?
this shit gonna stop, bro? Like,
That's what I'm asking you.
Xbox game's gonna fucking launch
Give myself freaking
with a
oxygen
fucking complete, like, yo, every Xbox game that launches always fucking something, bro. They're always missing something.
It's always something.
It's like it doesn't like Forza Motorsports. Like when I see people saying, "Oh, Gran Turismo's dead," Forza move over for the new king. Like, listen, man, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you Forza's a bad game because it's not.
No.
But it's a goddamn shame over and over. Like they continuously, the narrative is never gonna change for Xbox because they continuously do the stupidest shit. If your game is not fucking ready, Xbox,
Just delay it.
like, bro, just delay it. First impressions is everything. You keep doing this shit to yourself, and then you wonder why people over here bullshitting and not respecting their company because you guys don't fucking think, bro. These developers are fucking brain dead at Xbox. I swear to fucking God. Like, I don't know. And Phil, listen, a lot of people give Phil Spencer a lot of credit, and I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. And yeah, did he make moves? He made moves because he had to. He went to Xbox Game Pass because he had to, because the traditional way of selling consoles and software was not working for Xbox. So they had to do that. Okay, and did he come up with something innovative? Kinda, right? I'll give him some credit. But the people that are overseeing these developers on Xbox, there's gotta be some sort of fucking control and quality, bro. You cannot keep letting this shit happen. Listen, it might not be a big deal, split screen, this, that, but it's the continuous nature of these games coming out, missing features over and over again. Like, if I'm Phil Spencer, like, no, we cannot have this. Like, so how long is it gonna take for you to get this and this? What, 3 months? A year? Okay, delay it. Because you just don't want that shit. Like, I'd rather you listen. I know Xbox guys are dying for the software and they want the game. They want to play Forza, right? And Xbox brought out the McLaren on their showcase, and look at this new car that's never gonna come out and all this bullshit. But like, guess what? Delay your fucking game. It'll be worth it in the long run, bro. I'm telling you.
No, go ahead, Jay. I was just saying, I want to just piggyback off that. Blazes, that's my point. We both said it kind of in unison, right? Delay the game. What happens is right now you're getting a stigma right now. Halo launched like this. Sea of Thieves launched like this. Forza launched like this. Redfall. We'll get the patch out to you guys. Where's the patch?
Where's the patch?
Where's the patch?
Yeah, you guys aren't wrong about that. It's all about the optics, and the thing is that and the thing is that if they do have like an issue internally, whether it's tools, whether it's
split screen.
We know what the issue is. We know, but nobody wants to address it.
No, they address it. Microsoft don't want to address it. We know what it is. It's that
I'm talking about the fan base don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept it. And it is.
I think to your point, J-Dub, I think that's part of the issue is like, the fan base doesn't hold them accountable. I'm sure some do. I'm not gonna say all of them don't, but you see it. I mean, you see it on social media. You hear about the change in behavior, and how people on that platform interact with video games. I mean, you see it like, they say it to developers. They'll tweet at developers. They'll have fun releasing that. You should have released that game in Game Pass. Have fun trying to sell it, or I'll wait for the game to come on Game Pass, or hey, it's on Game Pass. I got to try it. I mean, like, there's like Microsoft pays attention to those things, and if you're using Game Pass as an excuse to not hold them accountable, that's a problem. And it's a little.
Bruh, what was that quote that I think it was Phil Spencer in the email during the ABK case or whatever? It came out where he said something like he called the fan base something. He called them something, and it was like you guys don't remember? He called them something. It was kind of like extremist or something like that. He called them a certain word. He was like,
to meet their expectations or something like that.
They'll accept it. They'll
say something like yeah.
Bro, J-Dub, you know on Xbox, there's a fucking cheat on listen, this is crazy shit. Every time you play, I get on my Series X on Game Pass, right? There's an achievement for booting up a random Game Pass game, no matter what it is. So like they're literally like TikToking gaming. Like they just want you in the ecosystem, boot up a game. Don't matter if you play for 10 minutes, just try this, try that. There's no substance, there's no longevity, none of this shit, bro. It's just
evangelist, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just month to month. Like, the holidays are coming up. We need something. Hey, and you want to put your game on, like, you know what I mean? It's TikTokified, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm just gonna say, like,
crazy.
I'm sorry.
I understand about. Again,
I'm sorry, real quick. I'm sorry, Blaze. You said it's like TikTok, like. There's I have to send you there's a article by someone, I forget his name, who calls it the enshittification of TikTok.
Yeah.
And what you just described, Lace, you could draw parallels between that behavior of the enshittification of TikTok and Amazon, and you could draw a lot of parallels when you read that. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to
Game
me,
Pass. To Game Pass. It's really interesting. Like, all you have to do is swap out Amazon Prime, Amazon or other subscription services, or TikTok, and insert Game Pass. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
Evangelize. That was the word that Phil used.
Oh, okay.
Evangelize. He said, if you do this, they'll evangelize it. And it's like, as an Xbox gamer, reading that is so much. I mean, y'all can't understand what these guys are doing. You don't see how he views you and how he sees you.
That I think and that's the thing. Like, the people are gonna do whatever they're gonna do to support it, but like, I feel there has to be focus on their management and what their game development looks like, because this is not a one-off. This has been going on for years, ever since Game Pass is there. You know, Blaze was talking about it. We heard all this with Halo. I stopped everything and did a show because I'm sick of this stuff. Not at launch is damage control, because it may never come. We've seen Halo, perfect example, split screen co-op, not at launch. Well, they decided not to do it. And this whole not at launch stuff, this studio wasn't purchased a year ago. This is Turn 10, who was turning out Forza's 7 of them almost every other year. Were fully featured. Now, these 3 things that he said are not in it, that's on top of no drag racing at launch, no drifting modes at launch, less cars, less tracks. And then when you listen to what he's saying, he's going on and saying, well, with our new graphics engine and this stuff, this split screen was really hard to do, so we won't have it at launch. Everything seems like, is it your vision not to do it? Or at launch, it's
watch them not even
ready.
add it, Jess. Watch
exactly.
Come down the line and not even add this.
Exactly, because if you listen to him, he gives the excuse why it's not there, but then he goes not at launch. He's like, with the AI not being there and having a spectator mode, with the have this, and it's just difficult the way we're doing it, but not at launch. And it's like, but wait a second, is it a design choice? Or is it a technical limitation, or is it just not ready?
It's a Game Pass choice. It's a game. Let's face it. It's a Game Pass choice. Game Pass allowed them.
It is
Game Pass allowed them to use the excuse that we'll put it in a cheap service, and the games
just
are
get
basically
it out there.
they'll basically be early access.
Yeah, they'll tell us what we focus on.
Okay, so I like how you went with early access. Let me say this. Listen, this is part of their internal business model. We're seeing it too much now. What happens is you buy into Game Pass. You buy a year of Game Pass, right? Like you just said. The game comes out. Well, we're going to have this feature, and this feature coming down the road. So you start to play one of your favorite games. People love Forza, right? They play Forza. They get hooked on it. They're playing the game. Well, my Game Pass ran out. Well, I still didn't get this and this feature. Oh, that's coming next year. You keep staying subscribed, right? Oh, we'll see if Thieves got really good on year 4. That's 4 years, right?
Exactly.
4 years, you're just baiting along and baiting along.
Yep.
Where's my, when we had so many people, we had a few industry people on the show before Halo came out.
Bullshit right there.
And I said,
Well, that's
where,
their determination of live service.
You remember, Jez, you were on the show. We had a lot of people on, and I said, where's the rest of my Halo campaign? Well, that big, vast world they built, you can clearly see it's meant to build in and build on.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yep.
Where is it?
With Joseph Staten and left. It's all gone.
It's gone. And it's like now Gears and like,
remember, Mooch, Halo is a 10-year, wasn't it supposed to Halo Infinite is supposed to be a 10-year game?
A 10-year game. It didn't make
so-
it. It
so
didn't
they
make
have-
it. It didn't make it.
I guess they have 10 years to add the features, right?
It didn't make it 10 weeks. I mean, it
No.
legitimately, it's just, it's, you know, I see a lot of people say, oh, it's back. It may be back, but the numbers don't show it's back.
Exactly.
We'll join a game.
And you know what? A lot of you Xbox guys say, "Where's factions?" And to that, I say, "Shit, I don't know."
Well, that's a good question, too. I want my facts. Actually, I'll bet you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Hey, listen.
you gotta ask-
Absolutely.
To be fair, at least they didn't release factions and then tell you they'll finish
That's
the
true.
game
Well,
later.
okay,
Here's
yeah.
all the stuff
Right.
at launch.
Mooch,
Right.
can I chime in real quick?
No, go ahead, Brad.
I was never of the narrative of, oh, it's the Game Pass effect. I you know, for a long time, I think I may have said that to you. I think you and I kind of debated that, but now I'm kind of like, I'm starting to think it is because, again, I see the chatter, I hear the excuses, and I see things like, oh, well, it's in Game Pass, so it's the best deal in gaming, and I got like 200 other games I can play, so I'll just get back to it when they fix it. Like what kind of
That's so ridiculous.
what kind of you're not incentivizing developers to do better. I mean, shit, we already have developers launching games that don't necessarily work. You know, cough, Jedi Survivor at $70. I mean, and now we're getting, you know, it's so like, you know, it's just like there's no incentivization if you're okay with this stuff, and it's concerning to me because those aren't the kind of experiences I want, especially if I subscribe to. If I'm paying $15 a month, it's still money.
Yeah.
I don't want those. I don't want that excuse for developers to think they can release things that aren't necessarily, you know, complete or have all the content or aren't running great because of Game Pass. Like, do we?
That's
want
a good point, BRAP. That's a good point. And what I'll say is that what everybody has said, it's dead on. There's no excuse for stuff like this to happen. And I don't think that you're really gonna have any defender say, yeah, we want an incomplete game, because then that's just weird. But what I'll say is that just to kind of make sense of it, okay, not to justify, because you can't justify this bullshit, but just to make sense of it, maybe there is something to where the Game Pass effect, as you guys are calling it, is that since the games have to come to Game Pass, maybe that's where the shortcomings are coming in. Like you guys, like the point that you guys are trying to make, that these are modes and I guess you can say features that I guess that they have some type of metrics or telemetry to, saying that it's a lower base, okay, and that they can work on it along the way. I'm not saying I like that.
He called them legacy features. Features. So that means they were in the previous 7 games.
Yeah,
and
I'm
now
not
the
saying
one
I like
that takes
that.
6 years to make. This is the longest time we've had without a Forza. 6 years. The last one was 2017. This one took the longest. It sounds exactly like the Halo recipe. This one takes the longest and missing more stuff than the legacy. You should be adding on to this stuff. This should be the biggest Forza ever.
That's not hard.
It's the Madden effect, Jess. It's the
build a
Madden
block.
effect.
That's not hard to argue. I mean, I think that
It's the same thing we went with Halo. Halo was the same thing. Split screen co-op. We'll prioritize that. This is the biggest world we've ever built. It's the emptiest as well. And they never added stuff to it. And still, they dropped stuff. Not at launch. The classic weapons. Wait, remember the classic weapons? The people were upset that the classic shotgun wasn't in Halo. And they said, well, we'll have day 1 guns, more to come later. Dude, it took them over 7 months to put 1 gun in the game. It's ridiculous. What is this model? Who's developing
you're
these
not
games?
a developer.
Where's
You don't know
their
how long that
management?
takes. Come on, brother.
One gun! One gun! One goddamn gun!
Jess, come on.
Jez, what do you expect for 10? What do you expect for just?
And you want to know what the dude? The guy that told us about day 1 guns, he quit on day 1. The campaign sandbox guy who said day 1 guns, he left. He quit 343 on day 1. And he's like, this is just a start. Dude, we heard this so many times before. This is their studios. Like, this is turn 10. This is their bread and butter. Why are they going the route of 343? This Forza, first off, this Forza has not been shown the way Forza's been shown.
Yeah,
Where's that?
showing little
Where's
pieces
that?
of it, right?
Dude, we've been seeing pieces. We see pre-development, little like running. It looks horrible.
I don't want to see waterfalls. I don't want to see fucking leaves on the road.
Doesn't
Show me
look
the
good.
fucking game, bro.
This is Forza. This is the power of the Series X. Like, this is the demonstration of the game. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Jez, one thing I would say, like, as I hear you talk about, Xbox, I think what's happening is that, and I accepted this recently, that they are going after a different addressable market, and I'm starting to think it's probably not anyone on this panel. I don't
think it's anybody, considering their console sales.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
I don't know what the hell their addressable market is.
We joke around about
it's lower than the Xbox One, and Phil said they lost that generation. What the hell are we doing now? What is this?
We joke around about Olive Garden. Olive Garden.
I think Olive Garden's better quality than Xbox right now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Olive Garden caters to an addressable market or consumer who wants low cost entry to Italian food, which I would even categorize as really.
Oh,
but you don't say like it's
Italian tacos. I never go back.
Exactly. So I think what's happening is that they are pivoting. They are targeting a different demographic of gamer who wants access to gaming, a low barrier cost of access to gaming, and play games at a very cheaply. I don't know if that's a word, but at a cheap price point. They don't want to go out and spend $70 on games or.
Well, these are $70 games. Isn't that crazy? Forza's going to be $70. Remember those Warriors last year about $70 games? Well, nowhere to be found this year.
But I think they are pivoting away from us.
From gaming.
No, I would say for gaming. I think they're just targeting a different audience in gaming. I think they're targeting that audience that doesn't want to spend a lot of money, wants to experience games at a very cheap.
Bro, every gamer don't want to spend a lot of money.
Wait, but you know what? I agree in the sense about not spending money, but you think about it, it's still a $70 controller. It's still $17 a month.
No, I'm not. I'm saying they're pivoting.
It's
in
not
that
free.
Direction. They're pivoting in that direction, is what I'm saying. And I think,
but
they're doing all these other things, because they need to right now.
Can I just say
in that direction?
Yeah, Brad, and can I just say, look, I get what you guys are coming from, because if you're looking at it from a first party perspective, I understand the frustration, from everybody here today. But for the most part, guys, how much percentage of the games do they share across both platforms? You know what I'm saying? So I get the frustration with the first party side, because heck, as an Xbox preferred gamer, of course that's been something that we've been asking for a very long time, right? So these shortcomings are to everybody's credit, it is kind of concerning to what happened now, because it's another case of what happened now, right? So the only thing I'll say is that BRAP, I get what you mean by like a lower barrier, I guess you said, to gamers that want to spend less. But at the same time, you do have people that buy Xboxes, that buy games at $70 that are not subscribed to Game Pass. So I just think that the thing that I always hear, like the PS guys say, is that it's kind of generalized in a way where it makes it sound like if Xbox as an ecosystem and as a brand, it shouldn't be in gaming, period. And I don't think that's true. I think that they do have a place.
I don't think anyone said it on the panel. I just think they're pivoting away from.
Fuck it, I'll see it.
No, J-Dub, I think they're pivoting away from.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Real quick, Brett, go ahead.
No, let me tell you. I think they are catering to you. have different, and I said this last week on BRAP, because Dustin brought this up, that Sony's very Apple-esque in their approach, and I agree with that. I think Sony is pushing this. They're very Apple-esque. They're pushing this high-end device, high-end experiences. I mean, Phil's already talked about, like, they're not looking to spend more than $100 million on games now. What does that mean then? Think about that for a second. Like, so.
But to the $70 point, dude, like, the thing is like, that makes the case even worse. So if people are buying these games for $70, think about how those dudes at Redfall felt for $70. Think about the people that are going to buy Forza for $70. These games are coming incomplete. If you don't want to blame Game Pass, don't blame Game Pass, but it's still a $70 product that's on shelves that people will buy, and it's not a full-featured product. We'll ship it later. We'll fix it later. Coming later. They had to scratch off the 60 frames per second on Redfall. Like, the thing is that that's the travesty with this whole thing, because they are manipulating the audience and selling a $70 game because it's built for a service
I
for a
get your
$70
point.
game. So
That's
those
a good
people are
point.
suckers for
That's a
buying
good
it at
point.
$70.
Yeah,
I get your
It's a
point.
$70 game.
I get your point,
Halo
Jez,
was
but
$70. Or
I get your
60,
point.
I mean,
I get your point, Jez, and it's not to play whataboutism, but I do have to point this out. As the games industry right now, they're just releasing games that need patches, and it's a plethora, right?
patches are different. Like patches
Right,
suck, but like
but-
you're not tweaking this stuff. This is like features that they had legacy and expectation. If the 7 Forzas not at launch, performance modes in Starfield and Redfall not at launch. Those are not like, oh wow, hey, there's some glitch. Like the vampire got stuck behind the goddamn the bench in Redfall. Like let's fix the glitch. Like these are not at launch features, and it's like, why is it not at launch when it takes you 6 years to make these games?
I'm with
these are
you,
your first-party
Brokers.
studios.
I'm with you there. There's no excuse for that. I'm just saying that in general, just industry wide, there's a
There's
lot
broken
of
games.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of BS going on. So
No,
So,
there
you know,
is,
so
but I
let
just
me-
don't understand
so-
the not at launch stuff from their first party. Their first party should have access to the hardware before anybody else. They have the oversight of Matt Booty, Phil Spencer going over there. Like they should be, they have the advantage over third party. I could see third party
You're not
lacking
wrong.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're
but
not
their
wrong.
first party is supposed to deliver the best, especially when they marketed that Series S, the Series X before it even was called the Series X, calling it Project Scarlet and all these project names for this stuff. How the hell did these devs not
Eat
have things ready
Scorpios
for
for
launch?
breakfast.
Scorpio, they had like
Scorpios for
how
breakfast.
how do and market it as the most powerful machine,
Because,
but then your
Jez,
games that are $70 don't have performance
Jez,
modes in
they-
them? Like it's crazy.
Jez, Microsoft, clearly you can tell Microsoft
what they're doing.
Microsoft changed strategy at some point after they announced the Scarlet or whatever. They announced their overall strategy, and it changed up on developers. And clearly, developers were left out in the dark on a lot of stuff, or they had to pivot and
Their own first party was in the dark.
their own first party was in the dark. I mean, if these guys are think about Halo. Halo was in development for quite a long time.
6 years.
And-
Yeah.
Yes, right, quite a long time. Knowing that next generation was coming, they had the development kits. They had DX12 Ultimate and all this other shit. Right? They had all of this stuff. Clearly, something happened, and whether it's Phil or Satya, somebody said, "Okay, guys, we're going to change focus. We're no longer going to do this. We're no longer going to have that same strategy. I just want you guys to focus on this service that we're coming, this Game Pass. Just focus on, remove this there. Just focus on the penetration of Game Pass. And even if even if that takes, it's going to take you some time to develop after whatever, that's just going to have. Just focus on Game Pass. And I think that's why they're caught off guard with not having any first party games for quite a long time. Going 2022 without a long time. Now, I'm not talking about the buying of other stuff that was already there. I'm talking about as far as their own internal. We've been working on this for all of these years, and this is what we have to offer. I just think that's what it is. They just got caught off guard a bit.
Hey, real quick, I do think they are pivoting, even though they are releasing hardware still. I think Forte said they don't care about hardware. I think they still care about hardware right now, but I think the writing's on the wall. They're pivoting away from hardware. If you go back and look at like how they used to talk about like Windows phones, and actually Logic brought this up too. I didn't even think about this with Windows phones. He said that one of the things that was telling for him when he knew Microsoft, even though they were still making Windows phones, he said one of the things was telling for him that they were pivoting away from making phone hardware is when they started talking about engagement of software on other platforms. And we're starting to see that with Xbox. We're starting to see them, I mean, geez, they just marketed Starfield, not for Xbox, but for TV. So, I mean,
Yeah. So
I think the hardware days are numbered for the Xbox console. It's just going to be the application. And that's what they want. That's Microsoft's business model.
I want to say, so first of all, I want to welcome the great gaming Forte. Forte, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I've got a couple of super chats here, and I want to kind of juggle this into, and shout out to Stick Figure. I see you out there. I want to actually mention, and it kind of goes into my next topic here, and it kind of overlaps into this one as well. TrueWiddy says, Halo, Forza, Baldur's Gate 3, missing features, Starfield, Redfall, no 60 FPS. This is a pattern. There's a bottleneck. It could be the Series S parity clause. So TrueWiddy, we're going to get into that in a second. Thank you to General That Ape. I appreciate that so much. It means the world to me. You joined the channel. Thank you, General. Appreciate that. Tactical Gamer says, question for Mooch. By the way, Blaze, cover your ears or you're probably going to yell out something really, really bad. He says, do you consider Buca di Beppo real Italian? I love the place. Great show, by the way.
Oh.
Tactical. It's first of all, I want to say thank you for being here.
The poke room there.
But hey, listen, if you enjoy, by the way, anything you enjoy, I'm a big
That's like
fan
all
of
you can eat
eating.
all the
Period. Right.
Can we go to the Pope room, Mooch?
But
you,
yeah, the
Jazz,
Pope.
maybe
That's
Blaze?
right. The Pope room.
Dude.
So shout out. But to answer your question, I would say
Yeah, the room.
no. It's not. It's not real. Unfortunately, it is not real Italian.
No, it's not, dude.
It's not.
It's just all you can eat friggin' Parmesan restaurant.
It's basically bulk Italian. But listen, I don't want to take any enjoyment away from anybody. Right? It's like bulk Italian.
Are you saying I've been lied to?
You have been. You've been at least yes, a bit there, Brep.
man,
I'm
those
sorry
are
to say
not-
that.
Yeah.
Shout out to
And you can add Carrabba's into that as well.
Carrabba's also fits
What
into
about
that.
Maggiano's?
It's
You guys
another
have that
fake
in New York?
Italian. They
Maggiano's?
do have good
Carrabba's
sangria.
isn't
though,
real Italian?
No, Carrabba's, they do have good sangria because they put cinnamon in their sangria. I took that recipe from them, but the rest of it is trash.
Wait, Jez, do you guys have Maggiano's? Is that?
I have not eaten there.
Maggiano's is
I've not
pretty
eaten
good.
there.
I
I've
would say
not eaten there.
Maggiano's is you're getting there. You're working your way up.
Slow-mo,
You're
remember
working your way up.
each chain and
You're
each
getting
restaurant's going to be a bit different. Art, the Carrabba's over by me.
Maggiano's not bad.
I wouldn't bring you to mine. I'm not going to speak for yours, but I wouldn't bring you to mine.
Trip to New York, man. You guys are killing me here. I feel like I've been lied to.
Brap, you need to move to New York. Stat.
I feel like I've never had real
You won't
Italian
even
food,
find
man.
those places.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
gonna-
never had real Italian food. but-
Slow-mo, you got to come up to. You guys come up to New
No,
York,
it's
and
not
honestly,
like
we are
I
gonna
make them, my
legit.
mom makes.
We have
That's
to have
real.
Blaze come over from Mass. We're gonna be good.
There's some real meatballs.
So here, Gaming with Persona. By the way, Persona, I'll see you in the morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Shout out to you and Jay. He says the Xbox apologist has got to go. He's not trying to hear any reason. He's just regurgitating excuses and BS. No, I think what it is I think John actually made a couple of points where he said he's not going to make excuses for Game Pass. He's not going to make excuses for it.
I mean, this isn't, what's up PlayStation. This is CrossFire.
Oh, there it is. That's great. That's great.
Oh,
Listen,
shit.
Persona,
Freaking chipmunks.
Persona patented that. I love it. Shout out to Face23. He says Sony doesn't have a Game Pass to use as a crutch. All first-party games have to come out with their features complete, with performance modes and bug-free at launch. Now, listen, Face. So I was having a conversation with a few people right here in the chat. So listen, not every Sony game comes out and is 100% flawless. I mean, there's been certain issues on certain
That's the
games.
PC release.
Right.
Yeah,
so I'm not
right.
going to sit in your face. You know that too
The
as
original
well,
Days
right?
Gone.
So Days Gone being one.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't agree with, and I think he left. I don't know what he was saying. I'm going to say his name wrong, and I apologize. Abdural was his name or something like that. Anyways, he was saying he said I beat Final Fantasy 16, but he's like the performance mode was completely broken. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm playing through it right now on performance mode. I've been playing it through that since day one.
Well, maybe it was broken for him, man.
Yeah, I can't say his experience, but not overall. I don't know. I haven't had it,
That wasn't my experience. I mean, I thought it. I mean, the icon scenes were pretty intense, but
Well, shout out also to Big
Really
Willie
good.
Style 26. I appreciate that for joining the channel, guys. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, guys. We've got 434 people here. Really appreciate it. But I guess I'll start with. I want to start with Jez on this one, Jez, and then I want to get to Forte because the Great Gaming Forte is here and he's got information for us.
He's probably driving, by the way. You should probably tag him in soon.
Okay.
You don't want him to get into an accident.
Well, that's right. So we'll let Forte. Forte, are you home or driving?
Forte from the hotline.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Listen, ain't nobody driving nowhere. I got whiplash listening to this damn conversation for the last 30 minutes, and I was like, let me log in on my damn PC. It's like, what the hell? I was like, what's going on here, man? It's like, so, go ahead, Mooch. Just what you want to do first.
Okay,
No, I'm at home, actually.
I'm glad you're home because BRAP got us concerned. I definitely don't want to get you all agitated on the road.
BRAP don't care about my well-being.
Oh, BRAP.
Those are lies.
Come on, BRAP.
BRAP don't even call me no more. So
Today.
Trying to get the blood pressure up, BRAP. That's what you're trying to do. Jez, so let me ask you this. Stick Figure said this to me. He goes, you guys are blaming Game Pass. He didn't say it this way, but he says it's not necessarily Game Pass. He's saying it's the Series S. Of course, the Series S, which is keeping these legacy features from being there day and date. I kind of agree with him. The S is, but the S, if we're going to say it's the S, right, to a certain extent, that's also Microsoft's fault. We said it on this channel and people literally laughed. People that now say it's now
Scalability.
right? It's not as easy as that, Jez, right? And this S is literally coming back to haunt them every single game. I said that, and shout out to John. I'm just using his quote. He didn't say, but like people were saying, oh, the 120, 150 games. There's so many games that are. I said everything we're talking about the first 2 years during the pandemic was back compat. I said this machine is going to struggle when we start to get into the new games of this generation, and as we approach the end of this generation, which according to Phil, they don't even have a Pro coming. So the Series X is it, and they have to help people. As Forte said in the chat, 4 customers came in today and bought a Series S. Forte, I would like you, when they come in to buy a Series S, to please put my YouTube link on the receipt so you can let them know what they bought. Please help.
So what's the question?
The question.
Listen, I had 4.
So I guess my question for Jez is, do you think that
his channel
do you think
on
they
there?
should?
He's like, I'll tell you.
Before you get Jazz, just
Yes.
to let you know, for all about full transparency here.
Yes.
There was 4 Xbox Series S's that left the store, but the Xbox Series X got exchanged at the store. I won't tell you
wait
what.
for the S's?
I won't.
No.
I won't tell you.
PS5,
why.
baby.
I won't tell you why. He says.
Not trying to.
That's it.
Not trying to start
we know
a
why,
council
Forte.
war
We
in the
already know
middle of the
why.
chat.
We already know why.
We already
where
know
it's
why.
going.
So Jez, the question is then, should
I got
Xbox
this. So-
remove the parity policy? And I'm calling it a parity policy.
Yeah,
Meaning
so-
just say the S doesn't have to do all these things so they can give the X the power and the respect that it deserves.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that is the biggest problem because like they are 2 different price points. So when you buy the Series X, there's an expectation that you're going to get the best of what they even marketed to. And the fact that you're buying that and it has to have some sort of parity with the weaker console, that is not what that doesn't work out right. Like you paid more money for the more power and the capabilities of the machine. They shouldn't be limited by what the lower one does. So that parity thing needs to go. I don't know why they are doing that because I definitely thought Starfield would have been 60 frames on the X and just like 30 frames on the S. They wouldn't have that performance.
It's because 80% of the series install base is the Series S, not the X.
That's the issue.
So
that's what Larian said. Like,
why would you take the minority, right? And then you're gonna jip the majority? That they can't. They literally can't do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem. The biggest, but even I have a thought on this whole thing. I came up with some crazy, theory on why they're pushing the S because I was telling the J was listed this on Monday, the Grindhouse. Like I was saying that I think they're pushing the S because they're getting ready to do an X2 2 years from now. They're following that 1X model, just like what they did a year after their PlayStation does theirs. They're gonna start talking about Project Phil Spencer finesse again, and that will be at the X2. And what they do is by pushing the S now, they could get everybody. And I bet you that X2, whatever that next one is, won't have the parity clause that the Series S and X have. So the devs will be able to do what they want to do on that one, and that will get you to upgrade from the S to whatever the X2 is. That's what I think they're planning.
Well,
and they'll do a discless. They'll do a discless X next year to stay in the conversation of new hardware, but they'll do their. And no, I don't think it will be a next generation because they don't believe in generations.
It'll
be like the 1X. It'll be exactly like the 1X.
Jez, you know what
it'll be new.
Yeah, Jez, you know what Matt Booty said about that developing on the Series S? He said that developers need to plan better.
Well, he better talk to his own developers instead of giving them coffee. He better tell his own first party had to do better because they're the ones that are messing up. The problem is that their first party can't get it to work. How are you going to expect third party like Baldur's Gate, Larian Studios for them to do it? When Microsoft themselves, their first party should be able to do this. Like they should be able to make this work. And for them to have stuff not at launch, when did Turn 10 was their best developer for the longest time, their biggest quality, always dependent, ready to go. How are they now like a chicken without a head with Forza that's taken them 6 years to do? There's issues with their studios, and if that has to go with the development of the S and the X, like there's somebody made a mistake somewhere, and I don't know what the reason is, but they got to get rid of
the
that
other
parity stuff.
the other problem I'm seeing is
they're going to miss games.
Jez, to piggyback off what you're saying, this has been my concern. This is the whole thing now. Bethesda's kind of running itself, Activision. But the problem is that Microsoft, listen, they buy these companies, they buy the publishers. they're losing talent. People are leaving. When you lose the cooks, the restaurant doesn't have much of a name behind it. So the problem I see is they're already having a hard time with their internal studios. You're seeing Forza's having a hard time. They had a hard time with 343. The Gears 4, 5, and what's going to be 6. Redfall. It's just, now people are like, well, this is great. They got ABK. It's great. I'm like, okay, so wait, they can't handle what they got? But you're telling me taking on another 13,000 employees is going to be easy? It's just not really things that I'm seeing happen. And I could be wrong. That's fine. I'm not saying I'm right. But so far, I've been more right than wrong. I think the concerns are valid. That's all I'm saying to you guys. And I think the audience, I've had a lot of people come back to the show and in the chat say, you know, Mooch, I didn't agree with you a year ago. But after I see the product and I see what's going on, I at least see what you're talking about. And I would
Mooch,
love to be wrong.
They're doubling down.
Exactly.
They're doubling down on the Series S now because instead of launching a Starfield with the X and doing a bundle or something along those lines, unless what they know is a bundle's coming, but I think it's too short now, notice. But they actually had that other one for pre-order for about 2 or 3 months from June to launch in September. So they're launching a new Series S at $350 with 1 terabyte a week or the week of Starfield, one of their biggest games. Like, so they're basically aligning their S with their premier game
because the gamers have one thing about it. The gamers have spoken. The gamers had the opportunity to buy the Series X or the Series S, and the gamers chose the Series S. So that's the direction Microsoft is going to go in. I hate to say it, but they would be stupid to come out with just my opinion, they would be stupid to come out with a different version of the Series X, knowing that only 20% of the install base bought the Series X. Of course, they're going to focus on where everybody went to, and because everyone went there, and here's the problem: everyone went to the Series S because the console was marketed as a Series X, but just focusing on 1440p
less resolution.
Exactly, less resolution. That was supposed to be the only thing.
Though.
That's the difference. So clearly, if I don't care about 4K and I got a 1440p monitor, or if I don't have 4K, clearly I can save me $200 by getting the Series S, and I can just play all my next generation games and all these games at 120, 1440p as advertised. But clearly, that's not the case, and that's not true. This system is compromised if you're trying to, with all these developers coming up with all these issues. This thing can't even do split screen, and next generation games. I mean, it is what it is, and they have a big problem, and they need to solve it, or else it is what it is.
Well, let me
Mooch real quick.
Go ahead and get your thoughts in, because I do want to get in. So John and everybody feels equal here. We are going to do a little. We'll do a little Sony slander right there, and we'll have to this. Go ahead.
Sony deserves slander too. Especially with the way we haven't heard. There's no word of factions, but that's another conversation. Look, I will say this: like a lot of people say, the acquisition and their, acquisitions are great, et cetera, et cetera. Look, people should be wary of acquisitions too, and I only know this because of the work my company does. Acquisitions have a depending who you talk to, anywhere from a failure rate of 75% to 90%, and a lot of it is integration issues. Internal, like the integration, meaning like that could be like internal culture or talent leaving. So just be mindful of that when you talk about how mergers and acquisitions are great. So
Mooch.
John.
Mooch, I just want to piggyback on
Jez
and J-Dub, what they were saying, and
yes,
yourself
please.
about the Series S. To me, it's not such a big deal as it's been kind of portrayed, and the reason is because 99% of games are being released. Okay, so you do have your big one, Larian Studios, choosing a business decision not to release the Series S version without the split screen, and they're all in their right to do that. Right. They didn't want to release a game with less features, and I commend them for that, actually. Even if it cost the whole release of just let me finish this and you can go ahead. Even if it costs like the whole release of the game, I commend them because that's their business, and they decided to do what they needed to do. If you're a missionary gamer and you miss out because you only have an Xbox, that sucks. So I get that. But the thing is that what I will say is that it's not, at least to me, it's not as widespread as some of this conversation has made it out to be. Okay,
The Remedy said it too.
But Remedy's releasing their game on Series S. So
yeah, but
I mean,
do you see what they're releasing though? They're dropping the performance, the things that this thing was sold as. They're not like they're. Do you see even Chainsaw Massacre, that game, which is going in the Game Pass, like doesn't have a performance mode, and it's an online multiplayer game, doesn't have 60 frames per second on the S. Like this, the marketing of what that was, what the devs are doing is they're jipping out on that S from what it is. Like there's issues there.
What it sounds like to me, guys, and again, I could be wrong. It sounds like to me it's more work. So of course they're not going to like it. That's
well, why is it more work if Microsoft should be working with the devs to build their console?
I'm not
money, not just more work. It's more money.
I'm not going to argue those points. Two valid points, but again,
Microsoft's only their own first party developers are having the issue. So
okay, so Larian Studios, right? They if that's the stance that they want to take, and other companies follow them, and you guys to your guys' point, if you guys want the parity to be dropped, other developers and publishers are going to have to follow in Larian's footsteps, right? To make that a thing, because how many games would Xbox want to miss out on eventually until it becomes a thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. That's not what's happening here. That's
not yet. We're at the beginning of it.
One game.
We're only 3 years in.
But I guess my question is like here's the thing, but it's not happening on the other platform. So even though it's, and I understand, like I don't disagree with you, John. It's not widespread per se. It definitely isn't. But
that's all I'm saying.
But and I agree with you. But why though? Like why if it's not happening the other platform, where they're getting this game, and this game might be game of the year. I mean this game is I would say
that game is
the zeitgeist around this game is like Elden Ring.
Systems.
Yeah, because of the parity clause. Yeah.
No, it's because PlayStation Digital and PlayStation Disc are the same system.
Oh, the same system. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's why it's not happening over there, because it's different.
It's the same. It's the same cost, same innards. But here's my thing. So Mega Cloud 47 asked a question in the chat, and let me just say, there's a few people that have been actually. I believe Chris Fire also asked this. He says, Mooch, I was gonna get the S for Starfield. Mooch, should I still do that? Now, I'm not gonna hit him with a yes or no. I want to ask the panel. Well, Jez will say no.
Said, should he get a what?
He said, should he get a Series S for Starfield?
No.
Do you have
PC?
Do you have a PC?
Mega, do you have Mega Cloud?
Probably
do you have
not.
a PC? I would assume he does not, because he's asking. He wants to get into the console space. But
so if you don't have a PC, I would get only. Listen, if
Samsung
you got
TV.
Get an X. Do not get an X.
I would get an X.
No, get the Samsung.
Or wait.
No, get an X. Just get
Samsung
an X.
TV.
No, get the Samsung.
I say, listen.
What you want?
Try Starfield on your phone before you.
This is the whole thing. There are so many people that
Xbox wouldn't mind.
But it's it's so.
It
doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, I would the S. I'm gonna tell you right now, the S is a dead end console.
I have a very hard
in
time.
another year, it's gone. They're gonna drop it right off and do something on.
Jez, honestly, here's the thing. They can't.
Jez,
they can't.
They will.
Out of 22 million,
they killed the One X, dude. The hype that they had for that One X, dude.
No, I know.
$300, the One X was the best Xbox console.
Yes,
and they killed that thing in 2.5 years because the S was coming to town. They should have left the One X there as the transition.
Here's the thing, Jez. The only reason I don't agree with that, and Forte, I'll give you the mic. The reason that, first of all, you're talking about it. They went from one. Hold on, wait. They went from one. They went from one generation. They went from one generation to the next, so they could kill it.
Why they did?
But this one here, Forte, they can't do. The reason I say to Jez they can't is out of the 22 million reported. We don't know. Microsoft doesn't say anything. Of the 22 million reported by VG Charts and some others that are making guesstimates. Okay, I would say almost 15 or 16 million of those 22 are probably Series S's. So if they were to kill it, hear me out, Jez, you wouldn't really have enough out there. I mean, it wouldn't be enough people out there. What are there, 8 to 10 million?
They're not gonna, I'm telling you, they're not going to kill it in the sense where what they're going to do is transition everybody to a better console. And the way they're going to do is the same way they did it with the SAD edition. They have developers now start limiting what the S can do, start taking features away, start not doing stuff. And then what they're going to do is those people now are going to be forced to upgrade to get the features that they're missing out on. So that's what their plan is. That's what they're going to do.
They're going to buy a PlayStation. That's what they're going to do.
Well, they'll lose people in the transition, but you also get people buying a new Xbox.
But the SAD edition was a basic Xbox One, right? It wasn't anything. It was the same system, but just smaller.
Remember at the end of the generation when that One X came out, like nobody even covered how bad the games ran on the SAD.
No, but when the One X came out is when you actually saw them transition to get something more than what they had before. That was kind
exactly.
of the answer.
So they're going to do it again.
But that was like what that was 5 years after the what's the name came out. That was like 5 whole years almost later.
So we're coming up to. I'm telling you, we're coming up to what? We got 3 years now. Next year, 2 years.
But listen, that's why I also think that this generation is kind of a wash for them when it comes to what they want, because I truly believe that the S is the reason that a lot of this stuff has happened. Some of these developers are having issues because of that, but I won't say that they're not terrible. Like Turn 10 hasn't been terrible. I just think at this point, once you start seeing the writing on the wall and you start seeing a lot of things that are kind of the same, like everything is coming down to split screen or everything's coming down to just certain features, you're starting to realize like, okay, they're not going to come out and tell you that the S is the reason that a lot of this stuff isn't happening. They're not going to ever tell you that. But what they're going to do is they're going to bide their time. And like Mooch said, they already made their bed. They doubled down 100%. And that might be another reason why you don't see a lot of the Series X's in population anymore when it comes to buying them. You see them in bundles. You don't see them by themselves. So they say, hey, we'll have that system available for you to buy, but it's not going to be something that we're going to flood the market with. They flooded with S's. They doubled down and gave you a 1 terabyte version of the S in black because people really wanted the black system. And the biggest thing people got to realize is, and I hate saying it all the time because it's a conversational podcast, but the biggest thing people got to realize is most people don't care about the shit that we're talking about. Those 4 people that walked in the store don't even care about it. Like we keep talking about like the performance and stuff. Most of those people don't care.
So, Forte,
wait,
wait, Forte, let me.
You can't. Well, they got to buy them digitally because it's a digital system.
But Forte, so let me.
So they didn't buy the cards.
So hear me out, Forte. You have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which launches, I believe, next August 18th or something like that. Here's right here. This is right from them on Xbox Series S. The multiplayer horror title will run at a dynamic 4K 30 FPS with no 60 FPS option included. Hear me out for a second. So, Forte, when you say those people don't care, you can win that argument with me on resolution, on some of the topics we're talking about. But the minute somebody starts to play multiplayer games at 30 frames, you cannot tell me that they won't care. That goes for the casual market, too.
Think about Redfall, dude.
I think there's a lot of people in the casual market.
There is a lot of... Okay, listen. We're talking about an adjustable market. There's a lot more people now that care about 60 frames per second that cared about it 3 years ago, because we were telling people, like, think about it, we had people arguing us from a fallacy point about how 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second is a huge difference. And they can, no, I'm straight on 30 and this and that. I don't have to have a 60 frames per second box. But then they finally got a chance to see what 60 frames per second looked like. And they started feeling like, oh, I don't know how I ever played at 30 frames per second. And we didn't penetrate that market that much. There's still a lot of people out trying to tell you, it's a lot of people, and we're reading from articles. How many people do you? And I see these people all the time. People come in, they don't even know half the stuff that we're talking about. How many people do you think?
Really you got to educate them to buy a PS5 and not the S. Jesus, do your job, Forte. Do your job.
It ain't my job to force them to go buy anything. Whatever they come in there and say they want.
Educate them.
If they ask me a question, but the biggest thing you got to realize, like, think about it. This is the last thing we'll say. Starfield announced that their first marketing push since, the Bethesda, since the Starfield, what's the name? They talked about a TV. TV. They talked about
expensive TV too.
Listen, I think it's an expensive TV too. But guess what? I think it's asinine as a gamer for your first time talking about Starfield is on a TV.
Oh my God.
I think that's asinine. But guess what? How many people do you think of all the people that's going to play Starfield are actually going to see that day trailer and actually care about them saying that, oh, you can play it on the TV? How many people?
Nobody. You got to buy a 7-out controller.
That's and Bluetooth TV. Nobody's going to care about that. So it's definitely a talking point. People definitely have the right to be upset about it, but it always comes back to these companies make these decisions based off of the data points that they get off of us. And not just and we're just a small part of it. And there's a reason we ain't talked about. I don't know if we're gonna talk about during this show. There's a reason that Red Dead Redemption is getting redone.
Oh god.
Listen,
So
wait. It's coming. The remaster of 2.
There's not even a rematch. There's a reason that we're getting a PS4 and a Switch version of the original Red Dead Redemption, and that's because they saw that people were willing to go out and buy 20 million copies of Grand Theft Auto Trilogy when everybody and their mama was talking bad about that game. You know why? Because 20 million people decided to say, I don't care, or I don't even know what y'all talking about. It's Grand Theft Auto and I'm gonna buy it.
I bought it.
And listen, you're part
I'm
of the
gonna
problem.
buy for the Switch, Forte. I'm not lying.
Listen, but that's the thing, though. So as much as we talk about all of this stuff and we hate it, and we hate the direction that these
Numbers
games are
don't lie.
going
He's
in,
true. That's true.
as much as we care about that stuff, but until we decide to make a change and say that we're not going to be like, we're not going to go for that, like Larry and Studio said, that we're not going to release our game because it's not ready to release. But think about it, Jedi Survivor game was terrible running across all platforms. But do you see Respawn out there saying like, oh, well, we're gonna do this and that? No, they're just putting out little updates.
Still sold like
little.
gangbusters.
It's still sold like crazy. Redfall, they sold
$100.
Redfall, they sold $100 version of the game and told people you get 2 operatives, and those operatives ain't nowhere to be found.
So let's
Bite
talk.
ass edition.
So
They need to get the DLC.
Since we switched over to hardware a little bit here, Brap. Let me just get another topic in here.
Holy
I want to hear what you guys have to say about this now. So the PS5, they're saying slim, but I've seen a couple people, and I think even Tom Henderson came out. Blaze, if you're here, I want to see what Blaze has to say about this because I love getting his take on hardware when it comes to the video game era. Here, listen me out. Blaze, do you think that this is going to be something that is not a slim and it's just something where you can actually take the physical disc off and slide it on as an additional purchase? I think that's what this is going to be. If it's a slim,
they just released a video, Mooch. They just released.
I didn't see the video.
He said it wasn't. Yeah, but he said that wasn't real, Mr. Henderson.
He said that one wasn't real.
That's what he said, but it looked pretty real.
Yeah, it looked pretty real.
Well, wait. So there's a. Can
I
someone
think
send
it's
me that?
more real than that. I'll send it to you. They literally showed it all.
You're not talking about the video where the guy is just moving it back and forth in his hand.
That's the video, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but that doesn't show the actual physical disc compartment coming on and off.
No, he just moved it around.
There's a point in question here. Is it what we originally heard the rumor was, Jay, which was this is going to be a device that comes out that's a bit thinner, but if you put the physical disc attachment on for an additional cost, that's what this is? Or is this just a PS5 Slim?
No, this just looks like a regular PS5, but a slightly smaller version of it.
I think we got to stop calling it the Slim, though, because there's nothing about it.
No, it's not very slim.
A redesign. Well, not even a redesign, but like a modded one.
No, I think they just are making the internal smaller because you got to think they got a lot of people. They're out here selling PlayStation plates to everybody, Spider-Man plates to people. They can't really change the footprint of the system, but
that's
they can
it,
change,
Forte.
They can change the inner.
That's true.
The inner
That's true.
dimensions of the system are going to get
That's
smaller.
true.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
bet you like
That's
the middle
true.
part is smaller, but the wings are the same size.
Yeah,
or
they're
something
gonna
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to make it universal across the board.
And here's the thing.
should.
And here's the thing. I think the Pro is going to have the same thing. People are not going to go buy these plates and then not be able to use them on either what we're calling now, right?
You're
right. Can't. So
that'd be a mess.
So you're going to have those fins, regardless of what the internal piece looks like. The fins are going to remain the same, I think, throughout the entire generation.
Yeah.
If you'll call it that.
And this one will just be modular. This one will be, so they could say PS5 starting at $500 without the disc, and then this one is, you could add a disc drive to it later on.
Well,
so
no, I think this will be $400, Jez.
Yeah, 400. I mean, yeah, this one will be 400, and then you can say starting at $400.
Right.
If they do that, that'll be a good strategy.
And then that's what I think they're going to do. And then you could buy that, and then the Pro will be $500. So they'll have a new for each one.
I said this last week. I think the strategy that Sony's going with, this is nothing new. Everyone's listening goes, well, Mooch, that's been out for a while. I think they want to flood the market. They want to get as many PlayStation 5s into people's homes. Here's my thought. I think they're going to go out. I think they could on the digital version. That's why they're going to have the physical disc attachment. I don't know what that'll be. Maybe that'll be 50 or 70. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
$60, same price as a controller, whatever. I think they might. This would be, now listen, you want to talk about really trying to kind of stick it to Microsoft with these. They're doing these acquisitions. They know that these name brands are going to go over to Xbox eventually. But the one thing you can't do is stop. If all the households already have consoles in them, people usually stick with that ecosystem. They could make this thing $349.
Ooh, that would,
think about it for a second,
drop
guys.
the price of the PS5 now.
That's what I'm saying. If the PS5 right now is $449, hear me out. If you take the physical disc compartment out and they were getting these parts for a lot cheaper, I think if you can tell me day one the digital edition was $399, which it was, right?
Yeah.
Then why can't this one that we just saw be $350?
Absolutely.
That's what I think, and I really do think that that's the strategy. What Sony's going to do is they're going to do the old. It's what Apple wanted to do.
Yep.
Apple got into everybody's pocket, and I don't mean them taking our wallet. They did that too, but they put iPhones in our pockets. PlayStation wants to use an old tactic that still works. They want the console in the home. Period. Because if they get that number up, trust me, even Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty goes over to Xbox and Game Pass, but you've flooded the market. Everyone's got a PS5. PlayStation doesn't care. They'll take their percentage and they'll smile, and they don't care.
Yeah, but at the same time, and you're not wrong, Mooch.
Think about it. Think about it. This holiday, $349 for you can get a PS5 for $349, and then you drop what Spider-Man is being Spider-Man 2 is being advertised. Sony already said they're projecting. They increased their projections to sell 25 million PS5s this year by the end of the year.
But Microsoft will love, but the thing is that Microsoft will love that as well. They'll sell more Call of Duty, and they'll sell more Minecraft. So I'm sure that they'll be okay with that, Mooch, with sticking it to Microsoft, I guess, from a console perspective. But that's more money for Microsoft as well, if you really think about it, which is one of the strategic.
Right.
Well, so that's not how they. That's not how they.
Yeah, but John, that works.
They already got their 70%. They already got, because think about it, how they get there. They already got their 70%, right? Their 70% is already added up. It's already added up, right? It's
but that's
just
good
there.
for Microsoft. Is that good for Xbox? Like,
yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah, like good for Microsoft makes money. Yay, but who gives a shit if Microsoft makes money? Is that good for the brand? Like for Xbox?
For their gaming,
like Mooch was saying, you're flooding the market. Everybody has a PS5 in their house. Like that's. Like all of this the whole topic we just talked about, even with the Series S and all the whole debacle that's going on with everybody that goes, a lot of people that go to the games, a lot of people are going, they're already doing it. They're transitioning. You guys saw Digital Foundry made a video saying you can get a Series S for $100. Like people are selling their Series S's. People are buying these fucking PS5s. You see the numbers month after month. We see the MPDs. We see everything else that's going on. Then you got Spider-Man dropping. This shit is finna go crazy this holiday season. The Slim, like Mooch said, I honestly think it's probably more chance than not that you're gonna see this thing coming. You're gonna have a PS5 300.
I think it could be as low as 350, definitely 399. I mean, but the reason 399 is just too easy of an answer is the day they launched during the pandemic when they couldn't get the chips and they couldn't do this. It was $399 then. So now you're telling me the parts are cheaper. They're using this. They made it smaller. They got the actual physical disc part pops off. They don't have to worry about any of that. And it's the same price as November 2020. I think they're going to drop it a little lower. Now, John, to your point, I get what you're saying when people say, that's fine. Buy Call of Duty on PlayStation. Microsoft makes their money. Well, you know what PlayStation says? Fine. Buy Destiny. Buy Marathon when it comes out. And PlayStation makes Sony makes your money. So the point of the matter is...
MLB.
Right. Yeah. MLB. Everyone's like, oh, it's doing great on Xbox.
And also, that doesn't help the install base of the Xbox.
That's why that's a wash. Go ahead.
But
sorry,
you're right, Mooch. The thing is that like even with the Switch, like if Nintendo and Sony flood the market with consoles as they've been doing, it is going to be so difficult for anybody to deny that install base, and they're going to be the priority. And what does Xbox turn into? You could say, yeah, they're making money on the back end. Hooray, hooray, hooray. But what does that do to their console strategy? That makes them even easier now to skip because they're going to be so minor in the console space that who's going to spend their time to make money on that thing? Because they're going to say, hey, it's going to take 2 months to put the game on Xbox. It's like, dude, nobody's buying an Xbox. Like, and therefore, it goes the way out of the Sega. Like, it just basically your install base, your mind share goes away. Microsoft could shift it and make money on the back end. That's great for them.
I disagree. I disagree because I disagree because as long as they got Game Pass, they're going to sell Xboxes. It's just
why they have Game Pass now? How they're selling Xboxes? They're minus 13% over and over. They're
not yet.
What do you mean they are?
But they're selling.
They've been minus 13%.
Yeah, they're not doing well on the hardware, John.
3 years into the console, people buying it.
They've actually hit a point now where they're slightly trekking behind the Xbox
One, and that was without, and that's with Game Pass now. Game Pass not selling them.
That was, I mean, like I even said this. I put a post like they offer the quote unquote best value in gaming.
Nobody's partaking,
and
they're
self-proclaimed value.
I mean, yeah, look, they are selling consoles. Like obviously they are, but I mean, but the demand for the consoles down.
Yeah. 3 years in, this is the prime time of the generation, and they're selling worse than last gen.
This is the part of the generation where you start seeing more, like when you start seeing people transition over the casuals from last gen to this gen, and that's not happening for Xbox right now.
I just think we need a couple of these games to start coming out and for them to start delivering for us to go over this conversation again. That's all.
Well, I don't think anyone.
We've been saying that for about 5 years, and Halo was supposed to do it. Halo didn't do it, and now we got what's missing in the next games that are coming out. So we'll see.
John, I think that's a fair.
We always will see, but it's been for a decade. It's been 7 years.
Yeah, I think I think that's a fair point. But also, I mean, I think a lot of us don't have much faith just based on what we've seen.
That's
in the last couple
years.
Years.
Yeah, they have to prove it. I don't blame you guys for having.
No. Enrique, check this out though. Back to what Mooch said. Think about it. This holiday is going to be freaking crazy with PS5, with Spider-Man advertising. That's going to be crazy, right? Then next year you got the Switch 2 coming out, or Switch Pro or whatever.
Yeah.
Switch 2 is coming out. Then you got the PS5 Pro coming out. Come on, hey, listen.
No. You guys are tripping. You think Starfield about to sell like hotcakes, bro? I'm telling y'all right now.
All I'm saying is PlayStation was trying to lock that down, brother.
Listen,
I gotta be fair about it, bro. Come on, bro. Starfield's gonna sell a lot
on PC.
I think Starfield's.
It don't matter. PC, it don't matter where it is.
It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying on PC, it's gonna sell. Blaze, I can sell on Xbox.
So Blaze. Since you said that, I expect Starfield to win that month MPD. Then, since we're gonna go there, right?
Yeah, it should. Absolutely, it should.
Yeah. So check this out, right? So this holiday season is going to get dominated by PlayStation 5 and Spider-Man and all its marketing. Then next year, you got Nintendo dropping its sequel to its console. Then you got the PS5 Pro being launched next year. Where does Xbox fit in any of this discussion when it comes to, Nintendo and Sony is just the corner of the market.
It's a games market. It's like you're saying that Mazda doesn't have a place selling cars because they're in whatever place they are. If they're they're exactly where they need to be. You know, they're making money more than ever on the Xbox brand. To your satisfaction,
That's not true.
No. To your satisfaction, they haven't won you over, and that's okay. They don't need to win you over. You know, if you're not satisfied, that's okay. But I think that comments like that are a little.
But John, that's a bad. I don't want to cut you off. But
it's a bad thing.
But you guys shouldn't be like, we're not winning you over. That's okay. That's like Phil Spencer saying, look, we're not going to compete with PlayStation. Like that's okay. Like no, that's a bad fucking attitude.
Okay.
You should always try to win the consumer over, the competitor over. You should always do your best, no matter what. You're still not happy. Let me try again.
I get you. I get you, Blaze. But for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, I'm happy if I see the Xbox brand competing. That's what they're doing.
Shout out to you for comparing Xbox to Mazda, though. You do that to yourself.
If they're just rolling over and and not doing shit, by all means. But they're competing. They're making Sony sweat. That's what I want.
Okay. John.
Whoa.
He's here.
Who's that? Making Sony sweat.
How are you determining?
Phil Spencer?
How are you? Wait. How are you determining that they're making Sony sweat?
I mean, BRAP. if anyone on the panel here doesn't want to admit that PlayStation's feeling the pressure,
quantify that.
I mean, quantify very simple. The Hearing and Jim Ryan's World Tour. Very simple. Trying to stop and block the steal at every single turn.
That's just their job. That's their job.
We got an FCC guy in the house. We got an FCC guy.
Every boss is supposed to do that. Like, what do you?
C-SPAN
Every
watcher.
boss is gonna do
C-SPAN watcher in the
that.
house.
John, he is a CEO. That is his job.
He's supposed to do that.
And he's supposed to do. If he did, they should fire his ass. But look, let me tell you something else, John. You also sidestep Jim Ryan's email where he's like, "Yeah, you know what? We'll be okay." He's like, you remember that email? Jim Ryan kind of was like, "Yeah, whatever. People are going to leave there in droves." Activision. He's talking about Activision, and he said, "We'll be fine."
This is all I gotta say.
He's not sweating.
Forte said it today. 4 people bought an S. They could have bought a PlayStation 5. They didn't. That's it. I mean, there's competition.
Wow, that's
well.
I mean, you just made them win NPD this month. They won NPD.
I mean, those 4 customers that walked in, they could have bought a PS5, but Xbox
So the one thing, listen, the one thing I always say, listen,
bro.
And I'm look, I'm guilty of it too. So
you made Microsoft one NPD this month.
This is what Forte's doing. Forte's selling them a Series S because he knows Forte's going to double dip. See, Forte's smooth. He's like, "Oh, we got great value."
He knows he'll be back tomorrow and upgrade.
They're not going to like it. He's going to come back. He's like, "Guess what? I can give you trading value for this PS5."
That's right.
But that's fine.
Sell them trash. They're going to trade in.
That's okay. You guys
buy nice or buy twice. Forte got a shirt on.
Well,
you guys can feel how you want, but I mean, look how Sony's moving. They're investing 60% in gas games. They're making moves also. So it's one of those things that
but their first party games are still coming out quality. That's the thing. You guys can say we're making gas games, we're making lives, but our first party titles are still coming out at a high rate and at quality. That's the difference.
Their strength.
That's
brother.
what you're not. That's
their strength.
Yeah, but you guys are missing that part. Like, oh, Sony's doing it too. But but Sony's not dropping the ball in their first party games.
That's not debatable. That's not debatable.
I think this is my frustration when I'm going to channel my inner Optimus code here. The pesky bots. This is what they do. They talk about, oh, Sony's investing in gas as a way to justify Microsoft's strategy. But here's the thing.
No, they're doing that because they're smart. Because they're trying
to get more money, and I get that. But here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, the market has spoken. Right? The market has spoken. The market
gamers have spoken.
The last 10 years they've been speaking.
The last
Nintendo.
20 years.
30 years.
The last 20-something years, the market has spoken. And so, look, it's fine. Look, you can enjoy the Xbox console. If people want to argue the market dynamics, like the reality of the matter is the market's spoken. The market just prefers PlayStation. And that's it.
And that's okay. That doesn't keep me up at night.
No, the one thing I was going to say,
they got my money. PlayStation got my money.
At the end of the day, like people want to.
I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true.
Who's sweating?
Wow, Phil. No, but listen, the one thing I want to say. But the one thing I want to say, we always say is a small sample size, right? I'm guilty of that. But we try to focus on Forte. Let's add a caveat. So, like John was saying, he used the example. Forte sold 4 S's today. Those people who bought 4 S's from Forte may also already have a PlayStation 5 at home.
It could be. I hope so.
I mean, no, John. By the way, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, that's the truth, because I actually had a person that came in, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and he wanted to buy a Xbox because he wanted to play. He just wanted to play Forza. He wanted to play Forza when it came out in Horizon. And I was like, I said, are you doing digital or you want disc? He was like, I just get the digital one because I already have a PS5. I just want to play Forza.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
But Xbox has him. But Xbox got him as a customer, so that's the point.
I mean, he didn't. He said, I don't need an X because I already got a PS5 for more powerful stuff, and I just.
What did you say? I got a what?
He said he had a PS5 for.
You didn't show him xCloud and say he could just play Forza on his phone?
No, for what?
I mean, show them all the features.
This will be a doorstop in a month.
I am not in the business of telling people that they can play their games on their phone.
Forte, you don't have a Samsung?
I'm not gonna play my game on my phone.
Forte,
you gotta show them all the options.
Forte, you need to start selling Samsungs in your store.
Guys,
we do sell Samsungs in the store sometimes.
I'm just not a fan of thinking that any of these three companies need to stop doing what they're doing and just throw in the towel. I don't see that.
I agree. I hope Microsoft
I do too.
down on last place.
Well, no, I think John makes a point. John's saying there's an avenue for each of them. The only thing that we're saying overall is what we're seeing is some of the moves they're making. Again,
doesn't work for us. Doesn't work for us.
It's not working.
It's not.
It's not working for anybody.
Seem to be working very well.
What do you mean it's not working? They're profitable. How is it not working?
No, listen.
It's not working for you, brother. It's not working for you.
First of all, none of us should care about the profits.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't care about the
I'm
profits.
talking about the game output.
No, that's a fact, Forte. That's a fact.
No, this is the thing that in order for your scenario, like you said, for everybody to basically thrive and be at the top of their game and everybody get what they want, PlayStation has already done that. Nintendo has already done that. Microsoft did it during the 7th generation, and they fell off the wagon during last generation.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the thing. This can all be fixed with Xbox just bringing out games that people actually care about.
They're not going to.
Just focused more on great games on our console.
He said it. I didn't say it. He said it.
Phil spoke. Phil has spoken.
Listen, if that day doesn't, this is the thing though. As a person that has all systems, if they don't give you what you want, then they're basically telling you that you need to go somewhere else. So ultimately, it's in Microsoft's court to actually, do right by the fans that they do have. So yes, there is an avenue for everyone to get to where they want. There's an avenue for Game Pass to be what it needs to be and for Microsoft to feel happy about it. But ultimately, it comes down to the games. And right now, and as of the last few years, they have coming up short. I mean, you are what you at this point. I tell people all the time, if they tell you who they are and they show it to you, start believing them.
But Forte, they've come up short in the first. They've come up short in the first party department, and that's not even debatable. I'm not debating that one bit.
Yeah, but that's the reason. But listen,
short in the third party department now.
Listen, but that's the reason people bought this. Listen, I bought a place. Okay, perfect example. I bought my PlayStation 5 for God of War. I bought it day one for God of War, knowing that God of War, when they put out that, I instantly knew when they put out that freaking advertisement saying God of War in 2021, I looked at that thing and I was like, that ain't coming no time soon. I'm still buying my PlayStation 5 day one because I know it's going to be hard to find. So I sat with my PlayStation 5. Of course, I played games along the way, but the real reason I bought it was for Ragnarok. It sat there. And when it finally came out, I played it. But guess what? It's the same thing with Xbox. If Xbox gives you reasons to want to play on their ecosystem, you will. But they haven't given people a consistent offering. And I'll be the first person to tell you, it's kind of hard to support it sometimes because it is easy for you to go to another platform. It's easy to go to PC and play on PC because they tell you every day that you don't have to have a console to enjoy our games. And if you're not really jiving with the games that they have, then you're going to kind of feel a way about it because you got to remember, if I always look at people that came in the last generation, and I'm like, you wasn't here when Xbox was hitting on all cylinders, because that was a different feeling. When they were out here.
Man, when I was 8 years old, that shit was crazy. I remember.
Listen. When they got Halo as an exclusive to their platform, when it was supposed to go to people don't know this. I literally went out and bought a Voodoo 5000 card because I thought Halo was going to be a PC game. But I instantly flipped over the moment that they said it was coming to Xbox. I was like, okay, I'm getting an Xbox.
My God, I remember those Voodoo cards. Holy crap!
That's what I'm saying. I literally
Voodoo card.
That's old school, Forte. That's
old school graphic cards, dude.
I mean, dude, because that's a memory for me. I remember going into Best Buy, and on the back of the graphics card, it had an old picture of Halo when it was in its RTS. When they made it as an RTS verse, and you saw Master Chief on the back with the Warhog and everything on it, with the old helmet and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting this graphics card. And that was like my first time really jumping into PC gaming. But then literally a year later, they purchased Bungie and it instantly flipped because they had something I wanted. And guess what? They continued that with all of their services and stuff with Xbox Live and bringing people together and the depth of couch co-op basically and everything like that. But guess what? People didn't care about that because they gave people something that they didn't know they wanted. And that's all I want Microsoft to get back to. I want them to get back to giving us experiences
That's not happening.
And you know what? And except for what's going to come out of Bethesda, like this, and that's why everyone's standing up and lighting a match about the ABK deal. Listen, Diablo 4 just came out. Those come out every 10 years. Nobody cares about Overwatch, and Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation for the next 10 years. So when it comes down to it, when everyone's like, well, they're doing it.
Care about Overwatch. I mean, I wouldn't say no one cares.
Well, okay,
it got some bad reviews on.
Yeah, it's been getting absolutely torn to shreds. But no, you're right. There's definitely people who play it. I do have a couple super chats here, and
that's like saying no one loves Olive Garden. Clearly, there's people that go there.
There's definitely people that go there, but they should be warned. But nonetheless, I want to say this, Mike.
When they're waiting outside, I say, get out of here.
Sheffield Sphere says they're going to do what they should have done in the PS3 era: take full advantage of their lead. So I think I don't know. It's funny, Sheffield. I don't know if they're going to do. He said what they should have done in the PS3 era: take full advantage of their lead. So I'm confused on that comment because Xbox.
We must be talking about PlayStation.
Yeah, but PlayStation didn't have that lead till like the very end.
They caught up at the end.
They did, but they didn't have it till the very end. So maybe that's what he's saying. Tactical Gamer says for every Series S that was bought, another 10 PlayStation 5s will be bought. The Empire will live on. Well, we'll see, Tactical. I like your numbers there. But Lord Metroid says, don't worry, fellas. Switch 2 is coming in hot. Lord Metroid, a big Nintendo fan. Now, I got to ask you guys, we'll do a quick speed round here because it is after 9 o'clock. I told these guys 2 hours and I'm mooching another extra half hour.
Yeah, Mooch, I'm in trouble. You better hurry up, man.
BRAP, I'll start with you then first, BRAP. BRAP, let's talk about it. Microsoft and Jay, I know you're going to probably literally be drooling at to answer this one. Jay's going to love it too. I know. But you have the streaming, okay? Xbox was like, stream your games. Jez, you probably have the soundbite. Play your games anywhere with who you want, when you want, where you want.
Add that one,
right? But BRAP, now we're seeing PlayStation's putting out. They have a beta out. It's going out to certain Premier members that they'll be able to stream, which all works, by the way, with their Q Lite that they have going on. That's going to be coming out, right? Yeah. So streaming in 4K. Now, even if they don't hit 4K, right now, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I have no problem being wrong. Xbox right now streaming is at best 1080p. 720p. Is it 720 or 1080?
No, it's 720 up to 1080p.
Okay, so 1080p. So this even saying 4K. So even if it comes in just short of 4K, that's quite a leap forward. And PlayStation comes out of nowhere. Absolutely. It's like when you go to the horse track race, right? And that horse that was way in the back, you're like, well, that horse isn't going to get 4K streaming anytime soon. And all of a sudden, that one comes up to win the prize. BRAP, how did this happen?
So when I think of like Xbox streaming at 720, 1080, I'm also thinking about I'll think about just me personally. I can't speak to everyone else. Like if I'm using xCloud on a device, like I'm not really worried about resolution on my phone or on a tablet. But I will say this though, like Slimo was talking about this I think on Rap Wednesday. He talked about just playing on Game Pass or xCloud. I don't know why I called it Game Cloud, xCloud. He said the NVIDIA experience is much better streaming. So, but I know that's not the question. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see what games. For me, it's going to be interesting to see what games actually stream in 4K. I'm kind of like, okay, Sony, I think that's part marketing. I could be wrong, but
hold on, they have a list. I have a list.
Yeah, go ahead. I wasn't aware there was a list. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a list of the games that the first other games. God of War,
and then it's how it performs too. Like great.
But is it streaming to the console? Is that where they saw it? Because I just saw this 4K streaming thing. Is it on the console?
It just
you can stream 4K, right now.
4K stream, yeah.
Yeah, so you can stream now, but it's not 4K. Is that what this is now?
That's it. It's not. It's 1080p now.
Yeah,
with this beta, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Returnal, Demon Souls, Death Stranding, the Director's Cut, and Destiny 2.
I'd be more curious to see how Destiny 2 performs streaming 4K.
With online. Yeah,
that's what that to me is the benchmark.
I don't want no part or none of that shit. No.
Yeah, I agree.
No. It goes back
all that shit.
Stream my ass.
It goes back.
Future.
It goes back. See, I like
the
how
future, bro.
I like how Sony does things, right? Because they're focused on their console, and that is their main bread and butter, and that is their focus.
Right.
They didn't make this streaming shit the bread and butter and the main focus. They didn't pull out all the bells and whistles.
It's a
They're like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
if you stream, because there are some people that do. It's very small, Mike. But there's a handful of people that stream, right?
I don't stream. I don't stream. I just said it was the future.
This was a second. This is a secondary note for Sony. Hey, we've enabled this. Now you can stream your games at 4K, 60p, or whatever at 4K in the cloud. Blah 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 blah. Right? It's just a little small footnote. They didn't do a lot of fancy marketing or nothing.
Complimentary.
They want people to go out and buy their console, their $499 console, their $399 console. That's their brother. With Microsoft on the other hand, they would have threw this. This would have been the biggest thing ever. They would have thrown the Xbox out the window and focused on this.
2 billion gamers.
Just like right now, this whole marketing campaign about no console required. Everywhere you look, no console required for Microsoft. And I'm like, dude, you got 2 next generation
there would be 3
consoles.
podcasts going on right now, bro.
That's what I'm saying. And so that's why I like when Sony rolls stuff out sometimes, because it's just a footnote. Okay, fine, great. I'll be able to download this software update and be able to do that if I want to partake. I don't want to, but I'm just saying the capability is there. It's just, I don't understand how Sony is able to just roll out an update and give gamers 4K when Microsoft's whole basis, their whole next generation focus has been on the cloud, and yet they're still at 720p
though, J-Dub.
Which, by the way, their cloud is still in beta, J-Dub. It's been in beta for 4 years. It's still in beta.
Even let's say it's shit, right? Let's say it's shit.
xCloud's still in beta. It still has the tag on it.
Sony never said everything is riding on the cloud. That's what you have a PS5 for. Even with their little Q Lite, right? It requires hey, this is a companion to our PS5. This is a companion. This is not the bread and butter where everybody's going to play. This is just another opportunity for you to do this in case you want, right? I'm going to buy one. I'll be in the bed. I'll be on the sofa. I'll be, walking around doing whatever. But here's the thing. I never in a million years would have thought, with Sony not even focusing on a cloud or something, that they would be able to do this. Whereas the people
who
where I'm at, has the Azure cloud service,
that's where I'm at.
You have data centers all over the world specifically for this, and you're still at 720p and 1080p. I did not think that Microsoft would be behind in the cloud technology. You had Google Stadia doing 4K. You got GFN,
Google Stadia actually worked too, low key.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It did. Thank you, Blaze.
Yes. GFN worked. And now this PlayStation streaming doesn't like that.
This is what happens with Microsoft. They beta something, they do it, and everybody watches, and they try to get people on board, but nobody gets on board with their stuff, and then somebody comes along and does it better. They did it with Groove Music, with subscription gaming. Spotify came in, smacked them out of the thing. They've done the Connect now. Everybody wants to talk to their Alexas and stuff. Mixer, they always do stuff, and then somebody comes along and does it better. Just like how PlayStation did PSN. That they did Game Pass better than Game Pass, and Game Pass has been out since 2017.
Wait, you're not talking about the handheld though, by the way?
We were talking about this
thing.
4K streaming, but
what J-Dub is saying is that Sony's not taking their eye off the prize. There's no compromise to what they're continuing delivering to the people that expect quality games. There's no compromise with them to offering their PSN subscription thing. There's nothing in cloud. There's no compromises with the PSVR. Like, they're able to hit every asset, but not compromise the core experience and what they're doing.
Jess, you get a Don DeMarco for that,
huh? There it is, baby. Don DeMarco, hey. You better not be an Olive Garden, Don DeMarco.
No, we'll go to Olive Garden after this, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Party at Olive
tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems like, guys, it just seems like Microsoft is at the ass end of console gaming, now cloud gaming, and everything else. It's like, how did you
again, they're going after different. They're going after a different consumer, man.
Well, remember how far behind Amazon Web Services they are?
Going after?
They've been bronze medal. They've been the penny of
bronze
forever, bro. They've been the penny of change.
They're the driver to the Olympics. I don't think they're bronze anymore.
Bro, like the Uber. These people they're going after, then.
You know,
Who?
the people that want the
Forte,
people,
who are
invisible
they?
people.
Forte, you saw them today. Who are they?
Forte, you saw
the
them.
people wanted low cost entry into gaming, and you know that
But
market
they're not
exists.
part.
That's
What I'm saying, Enrique, is Xbox for the longest time, for like the last 70 years, they've had access to over 3 billion gamers. You got PC. All these people have access to Xbox games on
Halo
PC.
is free, by
all
the
these
way.
People, all these people
Halo
have
is
access
free.
to console. All these people have access to the
Multiplayer is
cloud,
free,
right?
yes. And how many
To the
people? They
web
lost
browsers,
free.
phones, tablets. You've been having for the last 7 years access to all of this, and yet nobody's partaking. Nobody is. Who are these invisible people
They
that
got
they're
5
supposed
dudes
to?
on Redfall playing right now.
J-Dub, you know what it is?
invisible
I
people?
think these companies are trying to rush out, like BRAP says it's the future, and I think these companies are trying to be the first. Like they want to hang around until the shit becomes, they want to. They want to hang around till it sticks. The problem is this shit is not sticking anytime soon. I'm telling you. Like no, bro. Everybody wants fidelity. I want native resolutions, dynamic, whatever. But I'm not playing with no input lag. I'm not playing with fucking internet connection going in and out. I'm not doing that.
You know what? Listen, wait, Brap, just so you understand, the reason I totally agree with Blaze, hear me out. What have they been saying has been growing exponentially in the gaming market? People buying gaming PCs. Gaming PCs. Now, hear me out. Just if people are buying gaming PCs left and right, like Blaze said, they care about the fidelity, they care about the resolution, they care about the performance. Okay? They're spending anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 on a gaming PC. Yet people sit here and keep telling us every week that the cloud's the future. If the cloud's you might be able to say, well, consoles aren't going to be here forever. Then why is it PC gaming is exploding?
It's thriving.
Yep.
And the consoles are thriving too.
That's true.
Right, and
That's
the consoles
true.
are still doing well. But I'm just trying to say, Jez, if you want to play devil's advocate to the console conversation and say, well, they're leaving console, they're going to PC. They're not going to the cloud.
No.
And they're spending, right?
You know,
Exactly.
Mooch, do you know what you
you need to go
stream?
PC,
People stream games they don't care about. If you care about a game, you want to play it in the best way possible.
Yeah,
You're streaming
absolutely.
stuff to get your achievements. You're streaming stuff to maybe check out a game, whether you want to buy it, instead of downloading it to test it out. Like, that's where the streaming comes in. Like,
someone said it the best, Jazz. Someone said it the best. They say, I stream Game Pass games because I don't have to download it. I'll stream it, try it out for 5 minutes to see if I like it or not. And if I don't like it, I don't download it. I move on.
There you go.
J-Dub, why do people keep saying, like, bro, like, I don't know about y'all, but listen, and I'm not gonna this ain't a shot at nobody, right? But y'all get excited for every fucking game out there. I'm not pointing at nobody in this chat or I'm just saying, like, a lot of people just fucking play everything. I know what the fuck I like, bro. Yeah. There's nothing like I'm not gonna go on game fucking pass and like, oh my god, fucking Wonderland Part 2 is out. Like, let me try. Like, no, I know what I like. I know what's coming out. I'm not missing shit. You know what I mean? So like all that surprised me. Oh, nah, miss me with
Blaze,
that shit,
Blaze, that's one of my pitches on the show. I say all the time. I said, not only that, people, they go, Mooch, don't you like having 200 games in Game Pass? I said, I got 100 games in my backlog that I own. I haven't even started yet. I'm playing 3 games right now that I know I'll barely be able to finish one. Why would I want 250 games that I'm never going to play in my life? The game, John, he makes a good point. We already said, right, Starfield, Spider-Man, right? We're talking about games like that. Maybe Alan Wake 2. Hear me out for a second. You already know what games you want to play. You already know, John, me and you, we've talked behind the scenes. We both have crazy schedules, right? What good is the 250 games in Game Pass? You can't even beat your own. This isn't you, me too. Can't even beat our own backlog. We've already got the rest of 23 mapped out on what we want to play. And we're both going to sit here and say that we're excited about the 250 games that we either passed on when they first came out. It's all BS. It's BS.
You're not wrong. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you there. What I was going to push back a little bit was on the whole cloud gaming. Because I heard I heard you and Blaze both say that Stadia, and I tried out Stadia. I thought Stadia was pretty good. Okay?
It worked well. It did work well. Performance-wise,
performance-wise, right? If Google would have kind of
made games,
and they would have if they would have gone down a good route.
Yep.
I think that your conversation may be a little bit different here when you might be more open to cloud gaming, because if they were releasing games that you guys really wanted to play that was only available like through a cloud service and it was a good experience, I think that the tune would change.
John, hear me out too.
Wait,
Yeah.
did he say
They were selling
only...
games. They were selling games for $30, $40. Like I had to pay to own the license.
Yeah, it was
cloud game.
it was
like,
a
why
shit.
the fuck would I ever pay $30?
No,
for
it was
a cloud-based game when I can go buy that
you.
shit myself, bro. I want listen. Even I know we don't own these digital games. It is we know the deal. Like you know, if you get no internet, you locked out of your account. You have shit for luck.
Those digital games.
Yeah, we can download them and that's the whole point, bro. Like I'm very sensitive to input lag. I'm super sensitive. So
I
get you.
And I get you, Blaze. The only thing, and Forte, let me just finish this. The only thing I'm saying is that, especially knowing the performance that Stadia had, I think that for cloud gaming to actually become a thing and be more accepted, they need to have, number one, exclusive experiences on there, and number two, it needs to be good. It needs to just work. And then I think this conversation and our tone will change just a little bit. That's all.
But I think we're minimum a decade away from that, John.
It could be.
I think right now the best thing that you can hope for from streaming is pretty much like how PlayStation and mostly like how Xbox has it right now, where you could just launch a game directly from your Xbox or from
while it's downloading. Yeah.
So you can experience or you could just try it out. Like there's been a couple of games that I just booted up a stream just to see how it was, just to see what kind of game it was. And then I instantly, if I liked it, I just downloaded. If I didn't, I just moved on about my day. I think we're far, far away from the moment where streaming can even really penetrate anything like that. I think NVIDIA GeForce has the best experience.
I agree.
Especially with the $20 tier, where you can get like a 4080 or 3080 to be your host hub. But even that, to an extent, is still...
But you gotta you gotta own those games, right? You gotta own them in order to play. They don't give you any games, right? They don't give you games,
but they give you access to your library that you are.
It's a rental. It's a rental PC. So it's basically a rental PC.
A rental spec'd up PC.
Yeah, but Forte, can I ask you something? Like you just said, I'm going through the Microsoft Store and I see this game and I'll boot it up just to try. Like, bro, like that's what I just want to understand something. Like what?
Yeah.
Like you're still being surprised by like, oh shit, like this ain't like like you know what you like, Forte, and that's a lot of Destiny. That's a lot of Destiny.
I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about like because like truth be said, I barely use my Game Pass because I own a lot of the games that I play and stuff.
NVIDIA, record that. Go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. I'm
just playing. I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you.
Everybody know I own most of the games I play for.
I know, bro. You work at GameStop. We know.
Right, exactly. But I do have an Xbox Series S, and my daughter uses it a lot. So she actually came across a couple of. That's how she started playing Dead by Daylight. Because she just wanted to see what kind of game it was.
You know what? For kids, you're right.
For the kids, that's right.
The kids. That's what I'm saying. For people that just want to see what something's like, and even then, I had to educate her on it. I was like, listen. She was playing and streaming and just having fun. And I'm talking about you playing an online game and you streaming it. And I told her, I was like, listen, you'll get a way better experience if you just download that to your system. And guess what? She downloaded it to her system. She said, oh, yeah. So if it's a game I like, I'm just going to download it from now on. Sometimes, we're in a generation where a lot of the younger kids don't really know the difference until you show it to them. Because we are in the middle of we're literally in that generation. And guess what? We are contributing to the fast decline of digital games and things being streamed if we don't educate people on, hey, there is a better way. It's just like with DVDs and Blu-rays. Like I hate Netflix. I tell my wife all the time. I was like, she'll watch.
I hate it too. I hate it too, Forte.
Netflix fell off
because it's convenient. Forte, because it's convenient. That's why.
She'll literally watch like a movie that I own a 4K Blu-ray for.
That's crazy.
Like, I told her,
you got OLED too.
Yeah, and I have an OLED.
Oh man,
I'm sitting there like, you're watching what? I said, do you see that little bit rate?
They don't get it, bro.
And then guess what? As soon as she puts the Blu-ray in or the 4K Blu-ray, she was like, "Yo, this is mind blowing." But
even the sound is so much better.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. I always go back to the least path of resistance. That's all that really matters to people, and these companies pick up on that.
Let me ask J-Dub a question real quick. I don't know if this is still a thing for PlayStation guys. Mm-hmm. Like I think it was Returnal came out. And guys were like, they were saying like, oh my god, it's fucking incredible. They added all these features. It's a better version. And I see a lot of pushback from PlayStation guys. I'm like, And I was like trying to holler at them. I was like, yo, can I talk to you? Like, what are you mad about here? Like, they're saying your first like PlayStation game looks better. Like, why are you mad that your first party game looks better on a high end machine like that?
It don't
like,
matter.
You should be like, you should be proud of that. Like, yo, our first like I don't get why there would be any type of pushback, bro. It's you're comparing a $400 box to a $3,000 machine. Like, it's
Look
at the Ratchet and Clank thing going on. Yeah.
Okay, so Blaze, here's my take, right?
Yeah.
I hate when PC guys or when people try to compare consoles to PC. Right?
Yeah, you can't.
Just the sheer amount of money that you spent for your PC compared to this console is a non-starter. You're in a whole different conversation. So why, even as a PC gamer, right? Listen, I got a 4090 in my PC. You know, that's just for that graphics card, $2,000, just for the
That's a
graphics
light
card.
flex. Go ahead.
No, just to kind of prove a point. No, I'm just saying, just to kind of prove a point. Clearly, I spent X amount of dollars on this. I would look dumb as fuck to brag about my PC playing this game better than a $399 box. Like, that's why I don't.
Yeah.
That's why it really. But I do understand, right? Because I've been gaming on PC for quite a long time, right? That some new people have just gotten into PC gaming. They built their first rig, right? It's exciting to them. Hey, I got the pretty red, blue, and rainbow colors in my computer, and so they feel very special. And I get it; they're the noobs, right? But after you've been gaming on PC for long, none of that shit matters to you, right? It's just let me boot up this shit and hope and pray that it fucking works and don't give me any driver updates or any issues, and I'll just move on with my life, right? But if you've been doing it for so long, it's not special to you. You just want your shit to play good and not have any issues and move forward.
Yep.
So I get a lot of people want to flex because they're new to this space.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not new, J-Dub. That's the problem.
No. But and if they're not new, then it goes back to what did you expect when you spent $2,000 on a graphics card alone? What did you expect? Did you really think that it wasn't going to be a difference? But here's my thing, right? As someone who has a high-end PC, I have still yet to get an experience on my PC that I get on my console from a first-party perspective. It's just, it literally what it is. Yes, and here's the sad part about it. If I'm a PC-only gamer, I sit here and wait 2 and 3 years after these console gamers are bragging about these games. Yeah. I got to sit here and wait 2 or 3 years and hope and pray that God of War Ragnarok come out of my PC in a working fashion that is not subpar. You have to hope and pray that this game is optimized to be able to do that. Or if not, I sit here and I'm mad and I'm upset and I'm attacking developers because I spent $5,000 on the PC, but these console guys who've been playing this shit 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, but you know what? No, you're absolutely right. I'm not giving you any pushback. The only pushback I'm gonna give you is like that's Sony's problem right there. Like they've seen but they've seen the track record of some of these guys porting games over to PC. The track record was horrible, but they still chose to trust them with their fucking. You can't trust them with your crown jewel, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, Blaze. My perspective. I hope these PC dudes is pirating all of that shit.
Yeah, teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson.
Sony, they gotta do a better job. They gotta do a better job with the ports, though. They really do.
No, they don't.
No, they really do. But some have been pretty bad. Like
I'll be hoping all them goddamn
Ratchet and Clank has been really, really good.
Now, J-Dub, I gotta call you to court a little bit. I love you. Hey, listen, you are the person.
He's trying to sell you an S.
Guess what? You are the person that gave the golden. Listen, J-Dub was the person that gave the golden ticket away during last generation. He hooked up a lot of people with PlayStation 4, so I know that man loves it.
And Xboxes. To be fair,
he did Xbox too. That's right.
To be fair,
and Switches.
Yeah, this man hooked up a lot of people. But listen, Jada, I know you are a man of means, and you can get anything you want, brother. But I also know you're also a man that's not going to spend your money frivolously on something that you don't think you need. And the fact that you have a 4090, you know what the value of that thing is. And let's not couch the fact that yes, that thing is a very expensive card, but that thing does things that most things can't do. And you have that because you are about getting the best of whatever you can have. And if PlayStation had games that were exclusively for the PlayStation, or not the PlayStation, but they brought games over to PC, you would play those games. Just like I told Todd Howard. When Todd Howard came out and said that I'm playing Starfield on the S, I was like, okay, yeah, you're beta testing that thing on the S, but you ain't gonna play it on the S.
Of course
play
not.
it on the PC. You ain't gonna play that thing. You ain't gonna experience the game that most of these people are going to experience. So it's not really to call you out on. It's just to say that I know who you are. I know if they had experiences that were the same on PlayStation, you could get on the day that the PlayStation launched. You would be right there on that 4090.
But 4K, you know what the difference?
The moment the moment Sony comes out and say that they're putting their games day and day on PC is the day that I have no reason to have a console.
And that's all I want to hear.
No, I
did say that.
But J-Dub, tell them about but J-Dub, they need the ecosystem.
They can afford it, right?
No, they need the ecosystem too. They need the trophies and shit. People are not moving over, bro. They love their trophies.
And the party chat and all that stuff.
This is the thing. I need PlayStation to have their own launcher on PC so they can have their own.
But let's face it, guys.
They need the ecosystem over there. They need to move it over there.
100%.
But Forte, let's face it, right?
Yeah.
Let's face it. Here's the thing. The reason why that my option is not viable for a lot of people is because the entry level, the cost of it, getting PC to be able to play it, that is crazy, right? Whereas a person can go buy a PlayStation Digital right now for $399 and have a full blown experience, and then. You know what I'm saying? Versus a PC, how many people are going to go out and spend $5,000 on PC to get all of that stuff, right?
I agree. Your level, my level, a lot of people, even BRAP's level. BRAP even got a really good PC in here. That level is kind of higher end, like $2,000, $1,500 PC. But we can't just keep saying that the PC ecosystem is just overblown, unattainable price goal, because there's people out there building them for $1,200. Yes, that's more than a console. But guess what? You are getting what you pay for. And I always tell this with people with consoles.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. PlayStation, what PlayStation is giving you the best experience, dollar to dollar, for the experience and the power that you can get right now. The Xbox is in the same situation with the Series X, but it's being undercut by the fact that its little brother isn't keeping up with it. And I always try to fight back with people and tell us, like, it's not that the X isn't what it's supposed to be. It's the fact that Microsoft handicapped it by giving it a little brother that has got to walk around the streets with. And that's the problem with the X. So we have systems that can take advantage of this, but Microsoft is just pigeonholed right now, and they're not gonna.
Forte, what kind of GPU you got, bro?
I have a 3080 Ti. Oh, I'm not like J-Dub, bro. So when that 4090 came out, I was like, yeah, that looks nice. I'll wait till the 5000 series come out.
I know Blaze is going to be getting a 50. I know Blaze and J-Dub are going to be getting a 50. They're going to be doing 5090, so I'm waiting till next year, and I'm going to join them.
I got a 3090 build and a 4090 build right now.
I'm already saving my pennies for that.
Right?
And I use a gaming laptop. Yeah, shoot me down.
The reason I talk shit about PC though, as a PC gamer, the reason I talk shit, because right now my PC is sitting over there with a blown fucking power supply, right? So eventually this weekend,
I'm with you.
It's like I get ready to
hook the 4090 up to a 600 watt.
No, it's a 13 watt power supply. It's and I've been having that power supply for like 6 months, and that shit went out the other day. My son was playing on it, whatever, and it went out. So I got to spend my weekend doing that. That shit that like.
You're right.
And I think a lot of PC gamers just need to understand from a certain perspective. Yes, you can get the highest fidelity and all of that shit, but there are some caveats that come with it too. At least from my perspective, like I just want to fucking play my games. I don't want to tinker. I don't want to do. I did all of that years and decades, a couple of decades ago when I first started getting into that shit. Right. So now I just want to game. That's it. I'm wasting a lot of my time.
But J-Dub, when you turn on, I think you guys overblow that shit, bro. I'm telling you, I play my game, and that's it, bro. I like your GPU is gonna optimize based off your GPU. Your computer's gonna say, okay, you got a 4090, we're gonna max you out at the highest settings possible. They're gonna automatically do that for you, bro. Trust me.
Listen,
I'm telling you, that's a fact.
First of all, you ain't doing too much optimization with a 4090.
Yeah, for what? Yeah.
No, but I'm okay, but that was a bad example. All right, you have a 2080. your fucking base resolution is 1440p. We're gonna, they'll optimize your settings for you. But the best part of it is tinkering. Yo, that's the best part that you can fucking. But J-Dub, you can fix your experience. If you want to play at 60, you can play at 60.
So I wouldn't have to tinker.
Yeah, you and me.
Just be right. It's just shit should just be ultra everything and move on with my life. I shouldn't have to go and change shit to fucking DLS 3 and 2 and change different. You see what I'm saying?
But that's why you're a console guy at heart, bro. You don't like doing that.
See, this is the
thing.
So this is the thing. J-Dub just answered it earlier. And I love the man. And that man, he's genuine to the core when it comes to the things he says, when it comes to especially PlayStation. The man said if PlayStation ever made those games experience day and day on a PC, that's the day that he stops playing on PlayStation. And I agree 100%.
That's 100% of the community.
You won't get you won't get much argument from any PlayStation guy. We've been said that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
because this is why they won't do the
Forte,
but
don't
wait, help me before you go ahead. Say, but this is why I said just based on what you just said, you just want to turn the system on to play. That goes all out the window. If the experiences, right now, PlayStation is giving you the experiences that you can't get nowhere else day and day. The moment that disappears, the whole thing you just said about
it becomes Xbox.
Listen, it becomes Xbox. Yeah, and listen, Forte, I'm going to double down on that. Like, for example, my plan right now is to play Starfield. I'm playing it on PC.
Yes.
Be crazy not to play that. If you got a PC, you'd be crazy not to play.
Well, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, but that's exactly what Jay's saying. That's why Blaze said 100% of the community is pretty much going to fall in line with that. I mean, that's a no-brainer, and that's why you're seeing the Xbox consoles in decline. It's just the way it is. It's not why it happened. It doesn't happen overnight,
a fact, bro. Well, you don't need an Xbox. People are gonna say, okay, then, I remember saying that. No, you don't need a fucking Xbox. That means you're giving me the option to choose what I want to choose. I don't need it.
Next generation, like Phil said, they're gonna have an Xbox. I can tell you right now, especially if I'm gonna get a 50 series or whatever. I'm not gonna have an Xbox next generation.
Yeah, nobody. I'll be honest.
Yeah, maybe they might get me with another special edition because I can't help myself.
Oh, if they have a cool special edition, I'm not putting anything aside. But other than that, why would I? Because I'm going to be playing these games better run on Steam. I mean,
what if Mooch? What if next generation they release the same like they did this generation, a powerful unit and a weak unit that's still going to hamstring.
They're going to fall on that again,
you
Jay.
know how crazy that would be?
Jay, they'll never do that. They won't do that again, boy. I remember when we said that was a bad idea in 2020. Everybody laughed, and now it was laughing.
They said scalability.
Scale.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. It's almost I almost kept you guys here for 3 hours. I appreciate you guys doing that for me, man. You guys I know, Blaze. Oh my God. Holy shit.
10 o'clock. Oh,
it's 10 o'clock. All right, guys, I want to say thank you to you guys. I want to say thanks to the chat here. Shout out, by the way, he came back and said, Sheffield said, PlayStation 2 was leading, PS3 dropped the ball when we were asking the question. And Black Metal Gamer says, fanboys throwing the profit card is super copium. So he's not falling in line with any of that too. So I appreciate the super chats, guys. Please, on the way out, hit the like button. Let me go in reverse order here. See if I can do that the right way. The great gaming Forte, I so appreciate you coming in. Especially, I know you work. I know you're listening. You said you almost got whiplash from hearing the conversation, so you had to come in and save the day. Forte, love that you were here with us, man. Let people know where they can find you. And great DPS last night with the great Slow-Mo Backslap, who was also here.
Yeah. Appreciate it. I told you whenever I do the conversation was going to go long, and I said, yeah, this is going to be a 10 o'clock podcast.
Easy.
Let me go ahead and jump up in here and get my credit for today. But I appreciate it, Mooch. Great show as always. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to J-Dub, Jazz, even BRAP, even though he says he calls me and he doesn't. Blaze, I miss you, bro. You always put in that work. It's been a great episode. But you can catch me at Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. DPS every Thursday night, 9 p.m. with the Home Backslap. And it's always great. So come check us out. And you guys have a great week.
Thank you, Forte. I appreciate that. The great Jazz7780 who says, Mooch, listen, I can be there, just not at 7, which I love. That's how our back and forth's always going to the
That's right. I'm like, just not at 7.
Just not at 7
time and
The show never starts at 7.
No, it doesn't.
7:15,
We're always 10, 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
You know, we're on New York time, Forte. The great Jez. Jez, let everyone know where they can find you, buddy.
man.
Thank you for being here tonight, buddy. I really appreciate it.
No problem. What a pleasure, man. It was awesome chatting with everybody. Shout out to the panel, man. Awesome conversations. Great time. Shout out to the chat as well. Hit that like button on your way out. And you can find me, Gaming Grindhouse, on Monday nights, 8 o'clock. And I had a Grinds Rant gaming bite this afternoon about the Forza stuff. So you can check that out. I've been doing some shorts as well. Some funny things there. But check it out over there. And shout out to everybody. Have a great weekend. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Jez. Thank you so much, buddy.
Home of the Grinds board.
Before you move on, Mooch. Oh, I can't in good conscience forget John Wolf. I literally just said I didn't call John Wolf out.
No, you're good, brother.
Nice meeting you on the show today, man. I named everybody on this podcast and literally skipped over the man that was under fire for 90% of the show.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
John,
dude,
John's a professional.
Nah, he's a big boy, bro. He's all right, man.
John's a professional.
Fell into the Viper pit and made it out. That's what I'm talking
What
about.
they saw him earlier today when he sold him the S.
I bought all 4 of them.
I bought all 4 of them.
He bought 4 of them.
Came in with 4 different costumes.
You know,
You got 4 doors in your house?
It did feel like somebody sent somebody in with the same
That's where they went.
4 times.
Love it. Love it. Shout out to Blaze, by the way. Blaze, yo, thank you for being here, man. You know, listen, I got to be honest with you. When I do get you on the show, that's when they're always 3 hours when you're on this show, dude. We don't have short shows when Blaze 4K's on here. Yo, Blaze, I owe you a super sod. I owe you a homemade pasta fazool. I owe you everything you want, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Love it when you're on the show. Love your opinions, and I love that you take no bullshit. So, Blaze, let everybody know where they can find you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Mooch, that's a you problem. First of all, the 3 hours. I got nothing to do with me. That's a you, Mooch. But no, I need you. Listen, Mooch. You know, you gotta return the favor. Now.
Absolutely,
You know
I already know.
And I'll get Rev on. I'll make sure we line the stars up and shit.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, I appreciate everybody here. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to the panel. You already know Jez, Forte, Wolf. Where did BRAP go?
BRAP had to leave.
J-Dub. J-Dub. But yeah, it was a good
go
show.
out,
I love these conversations. You know, I haven't been on. I don't do podcasts a lot anymore. You know what I mean? So I get sick and tired of the back and forth. But when J-Dub's here, like, bro, my fucking veins explode blue. Like, I can't help it.
My brother.
I feel like, you know what it is, bro?
OD.
I've been really trying to be like neutral lately, but like every time I get around J-Dub, I feel like I'm doing disservice if I don't back him up.
I love it.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. You gotta have fun.
No, but yo, at the end of the day, bro, I think we all of us here are gonna play game. Like we just want to play games.
Yes.
We're, like the best experiences. We're like we talking shit, but we talking facts. Like sometimes you just gotta sit down and really when everybody keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again. Like, come on, bro. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, man. Like,
eventually summer through it. Yeah.
But yeah, a good show, bro. You already know. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the chat. And goddamn, you got a lot of fucking members, but you're gonna have to hit my PayPal number.
I'm definitely gonna hit your PayPal up, please. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. The great John Wolf. Yo, John Wolf, let me be honest with you, man. By no means, hopefully you didn't feel that way, dude. I even tried to get out there and I was like, no, I'm taking John's side on this one. John, you're the best, dude.
It's CrossFire, brother. I know what to expect, man, and I really appreciate it because it's just conversation, guys. Like I said in the beginning, it's like nobody's taking this stuff serious, man. At the end of the day, so it's great conversation piece. It's good. Everyone has their own opinion, you know, and brings a different voice to this gaming space, which is what matters, right? Guys, hit me and Kay Asante up on Monday evenings. 7 p.m. Eastern on the Gamers Playground. We're more of a PC-centric show. We'll go for about an hour and a half every week. I pick Kay Asante's brain that's been PC gaming for a while, and we come at it from kind of like that, you know, PC headspace, and it's a great show, a lot of interactive, joking around, just like, you know, we did tonight, guys. So pass by, and Mooch, thanks, man. I know I've been owing you to come on your show for a couple of times. You've always been welcoming and always sent out that, you know, that invite, and I've turned you down many times. So I'm glad it worked out today, brother. And Blaze, bro, let's hit up some Call of Duty, some classic Call of Duty on Xbox, man, whenever you're down. And J-Dub, man, great bringing the fire. Jez as well, and BRAP as well, man. Great conversation, guys. Appreciate it.
John, appreciate you, man. Like I say, I know our schedules don't always line up, but I'm going to keep peppering you with those invites, dude. Just one day hoping that you can do it just like you were able to do tonight, and it was outstanding to have you here.
For sure.
Absolute fire. So thank you. The great J-Dub City. Jay, honestly, I got to I won't say the exact same thing, but I feel the same way with Blaze, man. You just kind of get the audience, you get the panel revved up, man. So I want to say thanks for being here, Jay. Really appreciate your time. And please do me a favor. I know you won't. Don't change a damn thing you do. It is phenomenal. I love following you on Twitter. Love listening to your solo cast. Love it when you're on with Next Gen. I got to be honest with you, just outstanding to have you on the show tonight. Jay, let people know where they can find you. And of course, can't wait till you're back on the show.
Thanks, man. As usual, it's always a joy being on the panel, the chat, seeing them go crazy. Everybody on the panel, my brothers. It's nice meeting John Wolf. I hate to say it, but man, we stumped your ass out tonight.
Oh,
as you should.
I don't know. I don't know, brother. I'm sitting here perfectly good. I don't think so, man.
Man, don't worry. You'll wake up in the morning feeling sore. It's okay.
Nah. And I also, and I forgot to shout you out too, Forte. My bad. I kind of karma, bro. Sorry about that. But and slow-mo as well, man.
Definitely. You guys can find me on Twitter, kicking up shit, JDubCity16. Always keeping you guys laughing and shit with the console war. It's all fun. And guess what? Now I'm getting paid to do it.
Yes.
As some of my haters would previously say. But it's all good. It's all good.
Love it, Jay. That's right. Thanks to Elon for paying Jay and all the great guys out there that work very hard on Twitter. Real quick, I'll do a couple of shout-outs. Shout out to BRAP. BRAP had to leave early. That's Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Pardon me. That is on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. And a great slow-mo backslap. That's at slow-mo backslap everywhere. YouTube, Twitter. Him and Forte do the DPS podcast every Thursday at 9. See, I don't think I forgot anybody. I want to say thanks to everybody that was here. Honestly, on the way out, hit that like button. I want to say if we get over 200, there's still 287 people here. There's got to be 3 or 4 of you that didn't hit that like button. Hit it on the way out, and we'll see you next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Again, thanks to the panel. Thanks to the chat. Go home, play something. We'll talk about it next week. Peace out and good night.